He even made a comic where he uses the "I have a black friend" excuse.
Weird. Gross. Stop.
This is a very offensive and demeaning joke.
He is a jerk. He is gross. And at this point, I don't know what else to say, what else to do. Hello, all you drama connoisseurs out there. The long-awaited sequel to the original Antoons drama video is here. A lot has happened since the original video was posted in late 2020, and I highly recommend watching it to fully enjoy this one. But even if you don't have time for that 2-hour-long ride, it's totally fine, as we made sure this sequel is accessible to anyone who has missed the first part. Today, we'll be covering all the remaining anti-Antoons detractors, but also look at the ones who were exposed in the first part, and see how their credibility is doing in the art and commentary community on YouTube. Can they be trusted with any journalism, or are their 15 minutes of fame over? While this video will feature all of the familiar anti-Antoons faces one by one particular figure will have her own segment. That's right, the main star of the anti-Antoons drama, Puppychan herself, a now 19-year-old art influencer on Twitter, will be presented in a documentary-style analysis, so we can all solve the mystery of social media and young minds. Originally, this video was meant to stand as Antoons' own perspective on the drama, but now it's also to speak out against people who have been harassing anyone who associates with Antoons. Wanting to kill Antoons and getting him doxxed is not enough. Now they go after people like John Dilworth, creator of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and a friend of Anton, who had to remove his video with Antoons because of backlash from the cancel mob. And even if we put the April Fool's prank aside, people still attacked Butch Hartman for even considering doing a commission for Antoons. Will the mob go after John K as well when they find out he supports Antoons' art? Even if John K has already been cancelled into oblivion, for the right reasons, he still doesn't deserve more hate just for liking someone's art. And what about Gendy Tartakovsky and voice of Chris McLean, Christian Potenza? Will they also be attacked just for being friends with Antoons? Just like that comedian who had to publicly apologize for taking a photo with his friend Dave Chappelle? Will the mob attack all of the studios Antoons has worked in as well? It's time to bring an end to this madness.
So to summarize the Antoons drama, here's a little rundown of what happened. Here's me and my YouTube channel in 2014. Years go by and we reach 2020, when the corona lockdowns were announced and made everyone's lives harder. Shortly after, the BLM riots were beginning to appear in the news. This was a great inspiration for my first political comment. So I went to Twitter and posted it. People loved it, and so I made more. And after a few months, accumulated a legion of fans, but also an army of enemies. Shortly after announcing I'm ending my first comic season, I was starting to get interest in making fun of cringy art and bad comics. Since a lot of the time it was made by minors, I quickly gained attention from Puppychan, a Twitter artist who at the time was a safe space for minors. As a victim of the oppressed, she quickly became a judge to many in what is considered harassment and pure criticism. So after this Puppychan person responded to my tweets and I talked back to her, she quickly pulled the harassment card on me and chaos ensued. Many people have already been hating me for months because of my comics, so this was the perfect opportunity to attack me when they saw me calling out the popular Twitter artist who happens to be black, non-binary, lesbian, and most importantly for these people, a minor, so 17 years old. To me, age 17 is not an excuse. Social media is a fair ground for everyone. If you are willingly creating an account, then you should be prepared for potential criticism from strangers. Just because you're a minor, it does not prevent you from being criticized. If anything, minors need to be criticized more than anyone else because they're still developing and need to learn how to get better. If we don't criticize minors, we will only have more idiots in power, like Greta Thunberg, who became a famous political puppet at age 16.
How dare you!
Keep in mind, this was the time when BLM was everywhere in the media, so the Twitter community used the race grifter tactic to call me a racist because I'm criticizing a black artist, ignoring the fact that I criticized this artist based on her art and not her race. Meanwhile, around this time, an art and animation commentary figure by the name of daftpina decided to make a video on me as people were starting to learn about my presence. This led to the first major hit piece on me from a recognizable source, as daftpina was criticizing online artists for years. Since he made the video, everyone else in the commentary community started to jump on the bandwagon and made more or less same videos on me, which perpetuated the drama until the end of the year 2020. During that time, I lost my Twitter account for posting some edgy meme, and also created an association with the anti-woke group, so basically supporting free speech and anti-censorship. During the drama, I learned everything that was going on behind the scenes of the commentary community and how manipulative the people who made videos on me and others are. So I decided to expose the lies of each of my major detractors, to break their grasp on narrative and bring light to the situation. If I say there was an apple on the table, the commentary community would say there was no apple, there was an orange. And no, there was no table, it was a chair. The orange was on the chair, and then Antoons ate the orange and broke the chair. Imagination runs wild in these art community groups. If I say spanking a child is a disciplinary action to punish a bad behavior, the commentary community will say it's porn. If I say a fat cartoon dog is not real, the commentary community will say it's a black 17-year-old girl. Saying we live in a clown world would be an understatement. Imagine if these people took charge in the government. Glad you came.
What is it?
There's something you need to know.
Please, don't tell me you're...
I'm sorry, but... Let's start with the first anti-Antoons journalist, daftpina, whose idea was that I was taken to political extremes by other popular right-wing comic artists, thus making a monster out of me. In daftpina's eyes, me making political comics is preying on poor little minorities that can do no wrong. This idea was easily disproven because daftpina chose the specific comics from my catalog and used them as a way to show that I target specific groups of people, like the LGBT and BLM, when in fact I make fun of everyone. Funny that daftpina doesn't have any problem with Family Guy, a favorite show of his that he doesn't shut up about on Twitter, a show that has done a lot of controversial jokes as well. He also picked Mr. Sneaks as a racial stereotype of a black person and said that I don't believe what my comics are about. The whole video was a train wreck, not to mention he had 6 whole hours of interview footage that he could have used to show my full perspective. Instead, he ignored most of it, and even the less controversial trace argument was removed, because he needs to monetize his trademark videos after all. If the tracing problem is solved, he won't have any more expose videos on random tracers. Of course, he would rather avoid any counter-arguments to his tracing theory so he could make money.
Hold up, what is actually tracing? So Antoons made a video on this subject a while ago, but here's the basic idea of what it is in case someone outside the art community doesn't know. So it's simply taking images from an existing source, let's say some official art of Sonic the Hedgehog, and then putting a layer on top of it in any art software. Then you go over the existing art by following the exact lines to copy it, so you can have a copy of the original art. It's basically like rotoscope, the method in which you use recorded live action footage and go over each frame to create realistic movement. Disney and Ralph Bakshi heavily used it in their old films. But why trace? Well, there's a few reasons to do it. One is to save time to recreate something with the existing art. So if you're a seasoned artist, you can still copy the exact character from the official art just by looking at it. But tracing allows you to quickly mimic the exact drawing, and then you can manipulate it and transform it in any way that you like. So the result is the same as just copying the art from looking at it. But some argue this is cheating, because an artist does not learn how to draw this way. So new artists starting out are not encouraged to trace. Antoons can already animate, so using traced material is time-saving to recreate the original works. Also, if you are tracing in your original works by taking other people's original material or doing traced commissions, it can get hairy, especially if you do not credit the original artist. But if you and your audience are aware of you using existing works and things like parody animation, then there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone already understands that these properties do not belong to you, but it still counts as transformative art, as using traced imagery is there to mimic the original style for a new effect. People in the art community are torn on this, so this is just one perspective. YouTube is a place for sharing clips and pieces from other creators. Most channels use some existing material in their videos, but they transform it by commenting and using memes, so tracing is the same principle.
Many YouTubers use copyrighted music in their video essays. Some of your favorite video essayists on YouTube probably use music that they do not own the rights to. Do you think that those people should be unable to use all of that music? People recognize that, on the internet, sharing content and mixing content and using other people's works to make your own kind of thing It's the bread and butter of the internet. It's the very blood of the internet. All content online is built off of someone else's work in some way, even if it's heavily dependent on someone else's work.
Oh, and this is literally what my video on daftpina was about, so you can watch it later for more detail.
You are currently watching a video where background footage of a video game that I do not own is being used to discuss a bunch of content with clips inserted, which I do not own, over music that I did not make. But that is everything online. Some of the most respected work online is derivative of other media sources like video games and things like that.
Thanks, Turkey Tom, for letting me transform your content so I can make a point. Just kidding, I never asked for his permission. So at the time when daftpina's video on me came out and I made a response to that, nobody was taking me seriously. Because daftpina's friends in the commentary community all made more videos on me to convince the public that whatever I say is BS. So in the following months of 2021, the Antoons drama died down, and as usual, daftpina kept on making more hit pieces on other creators. But with every video he made, people were slowly catching on that his SJW tactics to cancel artists are actually dumb at best, and at worst manipulative and even evil. We won't go over all of the criticisms in his videos, but he basically struck a major nerve with his Discord incel video. In the video he calls out a black and gay artist, Ethereum Art, for using slurs and edgy jokes. daftpina never asked this artist for an interview to clarify his identity before slandering him online. Following that incident, daftpina doxed a young Twitter artist because they were pretending to be a woman while actually being a man. I mean, we live in a world of unlimited genders today, so how is that a problem to daftpina? He was the one who had a problem with my edgy trans jokes after all. So this doxing incident was the last straw that broke the camel's back, and Twitter exploded while people were making countless commentary videos calling daftpina out. And during this period, more of daftpina's history started to surface, which added fuel to the fire, eventually leading to masses of people dropping support for daftpina. I was inspired by this event to the point of collaborating with Ethereum Art to make a little diss track. It was something like a statement on the SJW grifters who sooner or later will get eaten alive by their own groups of people. So here's a few other interesting things these underrated channels have covered.
Hypocrisy is described as the practice of claiming to have moral standards or belief to which one's own behavior does not conform. I mean, you could make one of those bingo boards of just to check off how many hypocrisies he has. Daft calls out tracing in every video he does, but he used to trace, and it's worse because he called out Ditus for making money while tracing.
He profited off of someone else's art.
And he traced for commissions. Daft is a white knight for social justice, which is fine, but he used to just be as bad. He called out Antoons for sexualizing a kid and a drawing, but he used to get paid to do the same. We'll call out people like Tim Tom, but as soon as they became friends, he would delete the video and say that was unnecessary. Because as long as you're friends with Daft, you're abstained with all criticism. And he got Tro to say this on his video about Foot of a Ferret.
James, Jaden, and all these other animators means that he has that motive to be a bit more biased to gain their favor.
And the worst is the Discord server. His Discord server's unspoken rule is you can suck him off, stroke his big old banana as much as you want, but as soon as you say one hint of criticism, you get a strike and taken down for causing a commotion. There are so many more examples.
daftpina using a black man to rewrite daftpina's awful cartoon script after this man called out Daft's first awful cartoon.
Ryan is no stranger to critique, as he makes a living off of doing it, yet also finds it hard to take what is told to heart. Over the time I've known Ryan personally, I've seen firsthand the kind of guy he really is. The day of reckoning comes on the 19th, when I release my video, and lo and behold, Daft wants to call. This is where I learned one of his many tactics he uses to subdue criticisms he receives. He makes me watch my video over with him and one of his lackeys alongside Ellis Mark. Daft meticulously went over every critique I had towards Saturday's Off one by one, pausing the video every few seconds to dissect what I had said and to refute the arguments I had, as if to prove me wrong in my opinion.
Sounds very familiar. Almost as if this exact situation had happened before in my Discord call with Daft.
Instead of him asking me to delete my video, however, he offered me a gig to rewrite his new project, Arcade Plays, to make it funnier and more well-rounded.
So this is the art from the new cartoon daftpina is working on. I don't think I can comment on this. The image speaks for itself, and I will just wait until it comes out. I hope the art critic's own idea of what a good cartoon is will teach us how it's done.
Your script was absolute dog shit.
Oh.
After Daft befriended me, almost immediately, he asked me to read lines for his latest video. What video was that, may you ask? Well, it was the Odd Ones Out video, where he accuses him being racist.
So daftpina's current brand is not the tracer-catcher shtick anymore. It's calling people racist for making jokes and saying slurs.
I wonder why he would get me to read lines in a video where he calls someone racist. It couldn't be because I'm black, could it? My problem with the video and All One's Out is not only that he called him racist, but had the audacity to come to me, who knows nothing about the situation, nor cared because I was black.
And I don't think Daft actually cares for the person. He cares for the color of the skin he can brag about in public. Look how diverse I am, a black writer on my cartoon, racism solved.
At the end of the day, Daft really is just a snake that grew legs, slinking along, trying to stay under the cover of night as he strikes his prey one after another.
And let's take another quick look at daftpina's video on me.
Make it clear. Don't ask anyone about the genitals.
But what was so wrong with Daft's video? You know, it's daftpina, he doesn't do anything wrong. Well, for one, he misrepresented a lot of the points. He said that it was a bad look to talk about a minor's genitals, which would be true, except he didn't do that. Antoons asked if a minor who's on her period, which, first of all, weird for a minor to be saying that on Twitter. He asked, do you have your period because I thought you were trans? It's not asking about the genitals, it's asking if they're trans.
I lied! Ah!
Daftpina lying about releasing the 6-hour interview he had with me.
Daft and Antoons had an interview that lasted 6 hours, but it got cut down to 6 minutes for Daft's video, and Antoons provided me with screenshots that said that Daft was supposed to send the uncut, like completely raw footage to Antoons, and he never did it. He said he was going to upload it to his second channel, never did it. Said he was going to send it to him, never did. I checked his Discord, his second channel, his Twitter, and even his Patreon. You need to upload the full interview. For every video you interview someone on, and every video that you critique someone on, you have to upload the full interview. And regardless if it's intentional or not, people are going to assume that it is manipulation, or that you're cutting contact, or that you're not giving the same equal opportunities that everyone else gets.
Daftpina making a snake move to break the truce of me and Puppychan.
But after Daft's video came out, Puppychan, which was the person who Antoons was beefing with, and Antoons decided to DM over Twitter and talk it out. And they decided to talk it out, and they even came up with this cute little picture to say that they squashed the beef. Until Daft had to get involved, like he always does, little fucking snake. And he showed a screenshot from Antoons saying that he was planning to backstab Puppychan as soon as she turned 18. Good evidence. That would be insightful, except for the fact that A, you're trying to ruin this thing that you cared so deeply about and was such a bad thing even after it was all solved. The screenshot's out of context.
I lied! Ah!
Not to mention that the screenshots of the Discord chats were taken from before the TrueSart was ever made. You can see the dates, which was after Puppychan reached out to Antoons and Antoons removed her from his game, but also after Puppychan refused to make a proper public statement that the drama was over and didn't want to retweet the art that's a sign of peace. You can watch the first Antoons drama video for the full context on this specific situation.
Because if you actually read them, definitely not backstabbing. At most it was trying to indoctrinate their audience into his. Very Hannibal Lecter-like, but definitely not backstabbing.
I wonder how well the indoctrination would have gone, considering the BLM and diaper furry groups already having such a tight grasp on her.
But instead of reaching out to Antoons, asking if these screenshots are in full context, asking for full context if not, or even asking if they're real, he did not reach out to Antoons, which he had full capability of doing through Twitter, through Discord, through even Instagram. He had full possibilities to reach through to Antoons because they had made connection before, but he didn't decide to do that. Instead, he pulled the trigger and just said, fuck it, and sent them out, and ruined what messed up their entire audience for both of them. But I'm just gonna leave this segment with this clip.
However, if you want an audience member to understand your point of view, then you should use citations, as using strong accusations against someone will make you look bad if you can't back your arguments up.
And these are only some of the examples from the two videos I showed, so I suggest watching them both to see a bigger picture on Daft's scheming. Oh, and there's 2 other recent videos Just a Robot has made on Daft, so I recommend watching them too. So to conclude, people had enough of Daft's manipulation, and I doubt he can get his audience back. I'm a racist.
Thank God! I thought you stopped offending people!
Now that we went over daftpina, let's take a quick look at his subordinates. Daft has been building his influence over many years and inspired many people to make similar videos, calling someone out for problematic behavior or being edgy. daftpina's best friend may be LS Mark, who has stopped making drama content for a while now, but the closest friend in Daft's commentary circle seems to be Just Stop. This young fan of daftpina has followed the same path for years, living in Daft's shadows as a lesser-known commentary critic, trying to latch on to Daft's core audience to grow his own influence. What I mean is that Just Stop has been copying daftpina's tracer catcher shtick since the beginning of his YouTube career. Just Stop has collaborated with daftpina a few times over the years, and it's no surprise he would protect him like a student would defend his master. It's also no surprise that Just Stop took the exact same narrative that daftpina presented when he claimed I'm trying to backstab Puppychan. So I called out Just Stop for his first video on me, where he didn't even ask me for an interview prior, and only chose to get Puppychan on board to make her look completely innocent and paint a picture of me as a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, despite daftpina being a scumbag, at least he gave me a chance to talk, so I thought it was strange that such a big fan like Just Stop would not do the bare minimum. Here's what Just Stop has to say on someone's stream about me.
And I got in contact with Antoons.
Don't you mean it was me who got in contact with you?
But hey, you contacted me first, so...
Because I wanted to try it. Because we did like an interview.
You had a perfect chance to contact me before making your first video on me, but you refused to take it, and here you are pretending like it never happened. Just Stop must be really good at twisters, seeing how often he twists narratives like that. You can see what I mean in the first Antoons drama video, but we'll go through the main points here as well. So when I DM'd Just Stop on Twitter, he apologized for not asking me for an interview and said he didn't know how to contact me, which was another red flag, considering he had a plethora of ways to reach me, either through Twitter, Instagram, email, Tumblr, Newgrounds, and you know, Discord, which I used to talk with Daft earlier, so getting my Discord tag wasn't a big problem at all for Just Stop. He was just being a liar. But at the time I contacted Just Stop myself, he seemed like he wasn't completely under Daft's grip, because he did make some decent points in his video on me, such as me not being a map or transphobe, and he did also ask me for an interview after I contacted him, so I decided to give him a chance. I thought that maybe he wasn't a complete puppet of Daft's manipulation, but after we began talking, my impression of him changed once again. He was ignoring any point I made against daftpina as if I'm speaking to a wall, claimed that me striking a video for spreading false accusations such as me being a pedo was very wrong, yet weeks later Just Stop struck down my own video for depicting a spanking gag with Just Stop's cartoon avatar.
Calm down, Anton. Are you gonna strike mine down just because I don't agree with you?
Strike mine down just because I don't agree with you?
This isn't a definition of hypocrisy, I don't know what is. Oh, but before he reported the video for a joke that he found sexual, he actually tried to make a privacy complaint because I showed a photo of his face in one of the shots. So I got an email asking me to blur out his face, but I didn't want to initially because Just Stop posts his selfies more often than Puppychan changes her gender. Talk about being vain. So it didn't make sense to blur out the photo as he posts his face publicly, though eventually after a few days I did blur it out. But soon after Just Stop made a tweet calling everyone to report my video, which led to its takedown.
Even with all he's done and not gotten off of anything by now, I actually was able to get the video taken down.
He tried to paint the spanking scene as something pornographic, which was never intended to be. Notice how he lies that Antoons takes his pants off in the scene and then proceeds to spank the teen? This is obviously taken out of context, as anyone who's ever worn a belt knows the purpose of it. It holds the pants up. You guess what happens if you take the belt off? That's right, the pants fall down. Of course, whether or not the pants fall down depends on your individual size, but in the scene it clearly shows the lean V-shaped body of Antoons, thus making the pants quite loose. If this is still considered something sexual, then are these scenes from various cartoons and anime then in the same category? No, none of them are M-rated.
And for a cartoon reviewer who finds flaws in animation, he sure missed the obvious sequence of the images here. The two shots of taking the belt off and then spanking are not immediate. As you can clearly see, the pants fall off in one shot, but they're back in the next one when spanking begins, which means Just Stop has clearly missed the point of the gag, or at least pretended that he missed it. A creepy type setup of a situation like this, but leads to good old-fashioned child discipline instead, doesn't mean anything sexual at all, not to mention it's a cartoon avatar with freaking 4 fingers instead of 5. And I'm honestly surprised that Just Stop lost his marbles when he saw it. Maybe he was never spanked before. Maybe that's why he became such a spoiled brat that was raised on YouTube since the age of 8.
I was 8 when I got my first YouTube account back in 2012.
Not to mention that spanking, or corporal punishment, is legal in most of the world, and 19 states allow it in school.
Sorry, I look like a clown.
Oh, and other commentary channels like Just a Robot and Sen have also agreed that this was a really dumb move, but reporting a video for such a joke was really stupid. Looking back at it now, I'm kinda glad it was taken down because it was pretty rushed, and not to mention the song segment in that video was copyright struck because it used an arrangement of Taylor Swift's song. Basically, that video wasn't performing very well anyway. So Just Stop was also offended when I showed him what my biggest fans were drawing of me. It included the typical not suitable for work degeneracy. I showed this art to prove a point that these artists are not to be taken seriously, but Just Stop called it porn.
Oh, they made you fan art? And he proceeded to show me porn.
And reported my Discord account a week later, because he was 16 at the time, and the minor cannot see such art, or so it seemed. What's funny is that he has gone through my entire Twitter timeline to dig up any dirt on me and saw all the similar art and more in my history, but still went along and continued his research on me. Well, you know, he could have just stopped and avoided me completely if he had found such art problematic. He didn't even have to talk to me knowing that I have association with such tweets. Of course he would never do that, clout is more important. He would pretend he is okay with seeing such art, talk to me for over a whole week, and only to report my Discord account the day he released his video on me. If that's not a scummy move, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, I had other NSFW on my Twitter. Didn't you see that? And it's all very much easily, like, I don't know. I don't know how you can get into the mindset that he has, thinking he's so right over something like that.
So you don't deny that you were exposed to such content in my Twitter history. So let's pretend that Just Stop was confused, because this situation has never happened before. But, well, it actually did. But let's do a quick rundown before that. So it's obvious now that Just Stop had to come across some of the not suitable for work art content on my Twitter account before screen capping the tweets he showed in his videos on me to fit his and Puppychan's narrative. But he reported my Discord account without any warning when I showed him this porn without his consent, and how he never asked for it. Yet another YouTuber by the name of PK Russell, who makes cringy furry related videos, did the same thing when PK Russell posted his uncensored butthole on Twitter, while Just Stop did warn him, along with other YouTubers that called him out. But Just Stop never tried to report him for non-consensual nudity, along with the other minors PK Russell may have flashed. If you did not know, non-consensual nudity policy applies to Twitter too, but Just Stop chose to ignore it rather than, you know, do the right thing.
It was a picture of his ass. He posted a picture of him showing his ass while wearing a fursuit helmet. He posted this picture with no warning, no censor, no version of it that wasn't bad, and a link to those who were over 18, just full-on showing off, no shame. He actually counted down the days to this, apparently.
Even if PK Russell was a friend of Just Stop, a crime is still a crime no matter what the circumstances, and it shows a clear double standard. Just Stop and others could argue that it happened a long time ago, and that's a fair point, except PK Russell hasn't changed. He still alienates his fan base, still makes shit content, can't take criticism, and is overall a degenerate. Now I also want to point out his video discussing the downfall of Funimation, bringing up controversies like Prison School and interspecies reviewers. While Prison School is one of the funnier animes, has better comedy, it's also a sex comedy. And if he watched the uncut version, or let alone the manga, then he should know that it contains lots of nudity and suggestive imagery. And Just Stop is fully aware of the premise of the interspecies reviewers, where it's basically a fantasy anime that involves a group of guys going from brothel to brothel, having sex with different women in different species, and rating their experiences there to see if it's worth visiting or not. It was boycotted by Funimation after one episode, and all because they didn't know what series they were dealing with, that they had to censor the first episode before getting rid of it completely. If Just Stop is aware of the premise and may have watched the English sub and the uncut version, then he was basically watching porn on his own volition. Softcore porn, but porn nonetheless. And the series does contain a lot of nudity and sex scenes, in which they were both drawn by both artists and animators. If he's gonna use the false equivalence fallacy and say that the fan art Squirrely Jack made for me is a drawing of myself and therefore indecent exposure, then the same should apply to PK Russell, who also committed the same act and broke the law technically. But Just Stop will probably ignore it, and I know daftpina is most likely still friends with PK Russell, so there's a chance he'll defend or ignore it too, like he did with Meat Canyon. As we've seen in the first Antoons drama video, daftpina would never criticize his friends for tracing or saying slurs. So in short, Just Stop has the same if not more blatant hypocrisies and double standards in his arguments that daftpina has. I guess the student learned well in Daft's school of armchair critics. You see, he knows that such situations are beneficial to him no matter what. The more claims he can find against me, the more clicks he would get. Creating a scenario that I'm an evil porn sender to minors is more dramatic and would only prove his other points that I'm a terrible person. This is what Puppychan and daftpina did with the genitalia question. They recreated an event to fit their own warped narrative. If you don't believe me, just watch how Just Stop talks about Mia using daftpina's pink shirt to create a bad impression of him.
For a small note, he gives Daft a pink shirt, as to make it seem like he's more feminine.
Just Stop's eyes are set to finding a problem where there is none. This is why I think Just Stop's movie, cartoon and anime reviews are so awful. He can only parrot other people's opinions on the same topics, but whenever he makes his own point, it's completely empty and doesn't have any weight. I remember watching some of Just Stop's earlier videos, such as Umbelina Productions and Scout Fly. Those videos actually had originality because nobody else was talking about such creators. Today's Just Stop is a shell of what he used to be because he became a grifter. He sees a trendy topic that millions of channels have covered and he jumps on it. He's now the same thing he accused Prison Mate Luke of being, just another commentary channel chasing easy views with little to no effort. Just Stop had full context of me reporting the two videos, yet he made this claim.
He never tried to take down her video, unlike Anton who likes to do it daily.
Basically exaggerating the situation to extremes. Just Stop is just a weenie. But you know, I don't expect him to be fair. He only shows what he cares when the situation suits him. He claims in his Prison Mate Luke video that Luke doesn't do follow-ups and doesn't put pinned comments when new info is presented to correct the past accusations.
New evidence is brought to light that doesn't support the exact narrative you and your colleagues were peddling. You don't just get to ignore it and act like everything you said was right and none of it could ever be wrong.
But to this day, Just Stop still hasn't done any updates on his first video on me, where he took Daft's out-of-context screens to paint me as a backstabber. In comparison, he made an update on his pyrocynical video, but not on mine, despite people calling him out for not correcting his videos on me where he got things wrong, because he hates me that much, and I mean really hates me. This now 17-year-old went on to someone's stream to talk for 10 minutes about me and how I'm a worse person than Prison Mate Luke.
Just a reminder, Prison Mate Luke will have his own chapter in this video, so if you forgot who it is, we'll go through him later.
Honest question, do you think this guy is worse than Luke?
I mean, yeah.
Prison Mate Luke is better than me because Just Stop didn't have to break the cardinal rule for reporting a video in commentary community.
Once you start flagging, basically everybody turns against you. Most people hate censorship, and once you start censoring people, it's really hard to make yourself look like the good guy.
Hey, do you want to see something funny? Well, I checked one of his videos on YouTube censorship, and so let's see how well it holds up to this day.
On the internet, there are indeed quite a lot of people with differing opinions than you, and sometimes it isn't always going to be what you want to hear, but we shouldn't be actively advocating for taking down channels you just don't like. The funny thing about censorship is everyone is for it until it starts affecting their own rights, how they can act, and what they can choose to see before being punished.
We shouldn't be actively advocating for taking down channels you just don't like. We shouldn't be actively advocating.
At some point, it's going to become impossible to criticize people because it could make them feel bad, and because you made them feel bad, you're bullying them. And so, you're gonna be taken down, son. When do you think they're gonna take down iDubbbz or Keemstar just because they say and do things YouTube doesn't like? And you might not like Keemstar for being such a big dick. You might not like iDubbbz for his stance on slurs, but you have to admit, they aren't the kind of people who need to be run off. People in the community will have fond memories of our boy Mumpky Jones. He was edgy, unafraid to make jokes that weren't PC at all.
Unafraid to make jokes that weren't PC at all.
He made a parody song saying how much women suck. That's how fearless this guy was when it came to making jokes. He spent a long period of time working on an animation where, while censored, a minor shoots blood from their genitals.
That's how fearless this guy was when it came to making jokes.
Don't advocate for censorship. Calls people slurs of all kinds.
Don't advocate for censorship.
Don't give in to YouTube and pat them on the back for a job well done when it only limits the world of views of people around us. Shutting people with different opinions out is not the way to combat them. Anton was able to shove in as much racism as he could.
Shutting people with different opinions out is not the way to combat them.
He broke Twitter terms of service and is back pretending to be trans.
Science says anyone can be trans at any given time, which means you're transphobic?
YouTube can be a place where people like Leafy and Alex Jones can be so out there and get popular.
Look how Just Stop is advocating for anti-censorship and pro-edgy jokes, yet he does this.
Even with all he's done and not gotten off of anything by now, I actually was able to get the video taken down.
Sorry, I look like a clown.
So yeah, there goes a lot of his credibility. This is the definition of a grifter. Just Stop doesn't give a damn about the things he talks about. He only does it for clicks, because saying the popular opinion at a given time is safe. Just Stop will go against his previous statement the moment it doesn't suit him anymore. I may have reported the 2 videos by Prisonmate Luke and Izzy, and I can admit it wasn't the best decision, as I've never seen videos viewed by 4,100 people calling me a child predator before. But in the end, maybe it wasn't the best thing to do, and maybe I could have ignored them if I wasn't doxxed, gotten death threats and police calls, that is. But Just Stop, on the other hand, actually used this as an ammo against me to say I'm blocking criticism. Well, look how that has turned out to be. Joe criticizing Just Stop's behavior gets a strike because Just Stop can't handle it, not to mention him defending people saying slurs before. Then Just Stop proceeds to call me insecure, while admitting he is himself as well? Weird. Well, considering he makes privacy complaints on videos that show his Twitter photos, it does sound like real insecurity.
Sorry, I look like a clown.
With this very tweet, Just Stop has shown his true colors. No wonder he left the commentary community soon after.
Be better off not talking to him. He is... I outlined this in my second video, but he has a lot of tactics that he uses to try and get unassuming or unaware people to go to his side.
Gee, I didn't know I was that dangerous. But now that Just Stop has proven to be a crybaby, his credibility is tainted heavily. And during the interview with Just Stop, he asked me not to share anything outside of it before his video on me comes out, and I never did. Yet he gave screenshots of the chat to Izzy without my consent, which Izzy then used against me in her video on me.
Point 5. On the 11th of October, someone did an interview with Antoons over Discord, and at their request I've blurred their name for privacy.
Rules for thee, but not for me. Did he really think I wouldn't notice this? Unfortunately, I can't retrieve most of the things from my banned Discord account because Just Stop had reported it. But it's very strange, he doesn't want anyone to see it when asked. Don't you think it's funny that daftpina also refuses to release his interview with me? We just have to take my word for the things Just Stop has said in the chat until he releases the interview. I also thought it was funny how Just Stop immediately updated his avatar after I did the spanking gag on him. Well, look at that, he's trying to be all grown up now, with a little facial hair on his chin. I guess the spanking really did help to grow him a little. Take note, parents, this wasn't over yet, as Just Stop doesn't just stop caring about me. When one cancelled cartoon review channel Cosmodor made an apology video and I commented, Just Stop quickly ran to Twitter to say I'm defending a pedophile, and later made a reaction stream on his channel talking about me.
Thank you. Thank you, Antoons.
And just for clarity, Just Stop did not straight up say I'm defending a pedophile, but he did heavily imply it, considering I sent him the NSFW art.
That means I can send them NSFW. I think this was literally an Antoons used when he was trying to say that I was in the wrong, like, I posted some NSFW to my account, you must have seen that, so therefore it was okay for me to send NSFW to you.
And about Cosmodor, Just Stop was obsessing over that guy for months to get him out of the cartoon community, since he's a major competitor in the review business. But if you watch this Ponder Sprocket video on Cosmodor, you'll see the full context on why Cosmodor was actually hated at the time.
Look, to be perfectly frank, Cosmodor does have a few good points to bring up. And it's essentially because he's arguing the big faceless audience mob, which he later says he doesn't want to argue, which tends to exaggerate claims to the farthest possible degree. A lot of this is literally just centered around the audience collectively just not understanding the terms that they're using. In this case, the term would be pedophile. Cosmodor is right to call out people calling him this, because they are objectively wrong. However, even if Cosmodor argues he's not a pedo, which he's not, anyone claiming that is a moron and needs to reacquaint themselves with the definition of the word, assuming they've even read it to begin with. I'm so sick of this word just being thrown around at everything. Everyone who calls Cosmodor a pedophile is objectively wrong. Using friends in predatory relationships to explain why you thought it was okay and then pretending like you didn't know those people later on doesn't help you. You don't get to choose how you're held accountable. German laws don't just magically stop existing before the clause that covers the issue. I don't know, maybe some sort of magical fantasy land.
This was all before Cosmodor announced he got in trouble with the second minor, by the way. So don't get the wrong idea. I didn't have contact with Cosmodor since that announcement. And I was forgiving of Cosmodor's initial mess, and I thought he would fix himself over time, since the cancel mob is 9 times out of 10 exaggerating everything to extremes. I saw him being falsely labeled as a pedo or a map, the same way as people label me today as being a Nazi or a racist, which is of course false. Age of consent in Europe is lower than in the US, so I saw Cosmodor was getting an unfair treatment because he was dating an American girl. And if we're gonna compare my porn sending drama, the age of consent in Estonia has just been raised from 14 to 16. So yeah, there's that. So it doesn't matter where Just Stop was living at the time. In the zone I was living in, the law states states that it's legal. So maybe everyone was just confused with the different laws between countries. And yes, I know Cosmodor lied a few times, but made him untrustworthy, which made everything so much worse. That's why I said in my comment that he did do some bad things, but that's not the end of the world. So I did talk with Cosmodor for a bit in DMs to understand him better. Shortly after, he stopped answering after his final community post on YouTube, where he admitted to having another thing with another miner. So to me that was a sign that Cosmodor probably has deeper problems than I thought initially. Today people like to bring up how I'm defending Cosmodor without having the full context. People like to have this in the anti-Antoons list to say that I'm defending a pedophile, which is not true at all. Just Stop has a large child following that can be easily manipulated, as their brains are not yet fully developed, same as with Just Stop's brain, so these fans will blindly believe anything Just Stop throws their way. But still, sometime in 2021, Just Stop somehow came to the conclusion to stop making drama commentary videos completely, because maybe playing with fire has real consequences, especially when he has a high chance to misrepresent people and sick his fans and anyone who disagrees with him. You know, like daftpina and Puppychan do. Or maybe Just Stop realized that acting tough online won't last forever, and he would have to face people in real life one day when lockdowns end. Or maybe he just doesn't want to get cancelled like daftpina and Creepshow Art were for being hypocrites. So, can Just Stop be forgiven? Well, in court, sure, because he can latch on to his minor card until it expires. Oh, and he's perfectly aware of that his invincibility won't last forever. But online, publicly, he will be treated equally for past actions, as we've seen with daftpina's tracer history that is being brought up to this very day. However, I see a huge cultural difference here. While Just Stop is crying because people say slurs and reports videos for edgy jokes at age 16, people in Scotland go to work and pay their bills at the same age, because people in Europe do not extend their childhoods that long. Here in Estonia, you're no longer treated culturally as a child, from age 15 even. Playtime is over at that age, and you get bullied for lacking masculine traits pretty often here. Maybe because it's of the Soviet past Estonia had for decades. So just something to keep in mind for all you Twitter commies out there.
I noticed you said this thing on Twitter, and he'll say, oh, well, we don't have this word in Estonian speak. I probably should have worded myself better there. And I asked, so this is just, a lot of this is just a cultural difference? And he said, yeah. But then I remembered, oh wait, this guy has traveled around the world and he knows 8 different languages.
I don't speak 8 languages, it's only 6. And see how Just Stop applies his assumptions once again. Just because I have traveled the world doesn't mean I have full knowledge on every rule in every culture. Well, considering he didn't get the fist fight joke on Twitter I was making and took it as a threat.
Told me about how Anton challenged several people to fist fights over Twitters.
It's no wonder Just Stop sees everything in black and white. I guess it makes sense he chose the cartoon critic path. There you have every joke simplified and regurgitated so even Just Stop can understand it.
During the making of this video, Just Stop has turned 18, so you're free to criticize him without fear of him reporting you, because his minor card will no longer save him.
Now I know you might be thinking I'm giving Just Stop too much of a screen time in this video, but I see nobody else is pointing out his obvious fallacies, so I might as well do it for the lols while I can. One thing few people know about is that Just Stop also makes art, and when he had an interview with me, he said he liked my animation. So since I'm an animation teacher in real life, I offered him some help if he wants to learn, as I have plenty of material to share from my school. He said maybe later or something, I can't remember the exact wording since it's been a while. However, Just Stop can prove that this conversation did happen before he reported my account. And because he kept sucking daftpina since the interview, this is what art he does today, at age 18. And to top it off, here's him liking his own art with his other Twitter account.
Sorry, I look like a clown.
Now, having no art skills is not a critique if you're not an artist. There's this very interesting pattern I see with the commentary channels and how a lot of them gave up on becoming artists, so they chose the art critic path instead. So, Creepshow Art, Mr. Enter, Turkey Tom, and Nostalgia Critic to name a few. daftpina and LS Mark fall into this category as well, but at least LS Mark is showing some improvements over the years, even if it's still super generic 5th grade art level. But if age matters, then look at what much younger kids and teens can produce in comparison. My point is that a lot of people like daftpina and Just Stop have no room to talk about art when they fail to understand its fundamental principles. You don't need to be a chef to judge food, but if you want to be taken seriously as an art critic, you need to have particular knowledge about a style, period, medium, or artist. So basically 4 levels of formal analysis which you can use to explain a work of art or animation. That's what college or university will tell you at least. And it's funny because actually Daft has a film degree, yet we have seen his awful examples of art. But I'm glad at least one mystery was solved recently. You see, I didn't understand something for a long while. Why did daftpina and Just Stop defend Puppychan so much and not have a slightest doubt on her actions? Even if Puppychan did have the full Exodia set of victimhood cards, she still had a decent history of horrible behavior such as sicking her fans and anyone who disagrees with her and suicide baiting. Well, according to Kiwi Farms at least, a forum that documents her history since around May of 2020. So, even before I entered the picture in September of the same year. Why didn't any of these drama commentators mention anything of that when talking about Puppychan? Why did she get a pass, I wonder? Well, as it turns out, Just Stop was posting about his masturbation habits on Twitter recently, which is very weird to tweet about, and especially for a minor, but hey, you do you, whatever. But then later, a Kiwi Farms post popped up, talking about how Just Stop was busted for looking at porn. So then finally the dots were connected. Now let's look back at Just Stop's previous idea that spanking is porn. No minor without exposure to actual porn would call spanking sexual in nature. Also, Just Stop had no problem talking to me on Discord for a week after I sent him the not suitable for work card, assuming that he saw such art on my Twitter timeline before, on his own will, and also taking into account that association with a fursona or whatever you call it. Ever since Just Stop watched Beastars, he has this furry avatar, if I'm not mistaken. And well, we all know by now that Puppychan is the definition of a furry, that's all she draws. Not to mention the fact Just Stop used to be friends with a major cringe furry, PK Russell, so there was exposure to furry fandom during Just Stop's earlier days. Sure, this furry theory may be far-fetched, but when we consider he is daftpina's closest subordinate, it makes more sense. You see, during the 6-hour interview with daftpina, which he refuses to release, one of the topics was porn. In that argument, I was criticizing it for ruining millions of people because it creates addicts and ruins relationships. Daft, on the other hand, defended porn and said that it's actually healthy, and things like OnlyFans prevent prostitution and help women. I don't remember all the details because it's been a while since that interview, but he basically stated that porn helps him to masturbate or something of that nature, and that it's all normal and good. And we have also seen all the sex and fetish art he has drawn since his tracing days, so you can take my word for it. If one day he decides to release the interview, you'll see that it's there. And how can we forget Daft reviewing Rule 34 art of Jaden animations? Just Stop has also admitted how minors lie all the time online about their age.
Because people never lie about their age on the internet. Look at all these kids on the internet who say they look at porn. They must be all over age.
So now that we have all the pieces of the puzzle together, what does it mean? Well, since Puppychan has been making porn art for a good while now and exposing tons of minors to it along the way, the answer on why daftpina and Just Stop shield her is simple. They're just coomers. Or in other words, fans of her pornographic art. But even with so many things pointing in that direction, it's still a theory, an Antoons theory. But one thing is for certain, you wouldn't want to have people like daftpina and Just Stop at your party.
I'm never going to defend Antoons for very obvious reasons.
So this is what's it like to be cancelled. Now I understand.
So now let's take a look at our favorite clown girl, Izzy. You may remember her from the previous Antoons drama video, where she made a video on Antoons, calling him a child predator. But when Antoons said the same thing about Izzy, she cried to the point of having PTSD.
After all, she made 2 videos on me without an interview, so just like her assumptions, I assume that she's a map on little evidence. I think that's fair. So I made a video without an interview and assume characteristics about you. So you call me a pedophile? Yeah, that seems fair to me.
When both Antoons and Izzy talked things out privately, Antoons took the claim back about Izzy being a map, and Izzy promised to pin a comment under her video to state the things she got wrong about Antoons. But then days later, Izzy made a snake move by talking shit about Antoons behind his back, and when Antoons saw the pinned comment was removed, which meant that Izzy broke her promise, Antoons struck her video down as a punishment. Many people defended Izzy, of course, despite her starting the fire, and because she is friends with Puppychan, Izzy managed to get a ton of support from Pup's army. Thus, Antoons was facing both Puppychan's and Izzy's mobs at the same time. And so that caused Antoons accused someone of being a map to become a popular comment across all social media, and was added to the growing Antoons bad list that included quotes such as, Antoons is a racist, tracer, Nazi, transphobe, sexualized a 17-year-old, and so on. So months later, after the Antoons drama was over, and Izzy kept rapidly growing in subscribers, nobody was questioning her horrid actions, until one man, an autistic man, stepped up and dropped an expose video on Izzy. And so, Izzy was busted for accusing a 26-year-old woman of color of being a pedophile. If this isn't a karmic reverse, then what is? But let's listen to the man himself on what actually happened. Take it away, Robot Man.
Hello everybody, it's me, Just a Racist, the guy who falsely accused Izzy of being a map. Oh no wait, I didn't do that, I just jokingly said she looked like one because she dresses like a clown. And as you all know, Pennywise is always chasing after kids. So according to izzzyzz's YouTube wiki, Antoons changed his argument from saying that Izzy was a map because she was asexual to calling her a map because she looks like one, all because of me. Let me just tell you this right now, that is fucking bullshit, and Antoons can confirm that for me. And while those false rumors about me are pretty shitty, what she did to Mari Akazu is on a whole nother level. For those of you who don't know about the Mari and Cal drama, izzzyzzz, Prismate Luke, and Galaxy is Okay all did videos on Mari. Why? Well, it's because she made a 500-page document on a 13-year-old who was harassing her. Now, I understand that a 500-page document sounds a bit like overkill, but you need to keep in mind, most of the document was just pictures and screenshots. But why was Cal harassing Mari? Well, it's because Mari made a not safe for work fanfiction about the show Glitch Techs. Prismate Luke, izzzyzzz, and Galaxy is Okay all made videos claiming that Mari doxed a child, even though all the quote-unquote private information they leaked was already public. Which is, not doxing? They also claimed that Mari didn't make it clear that she aged up the underage characters when she actually did. It says in the tags that Mitch is 24 and 5 is 21. They also said that Mari didn't tag it with the not safe for work tag, when in the screenshots of their own fucking videos you can see the not safe for work tag. Izzy tried her best to make Mari sound so creepy. She said things like, this 26-year-old is shipping a 15 and 19-year-old together, when in reality she aged him up to 21 and 24. After I called out Luke, izzzyzzz, and Galaxy is Okay in my video, imagine lying about a 13-year-old because of a small YouTuber. They all took their videos down. Luke didn't apologize, and let's be honest here, no one expected him to. Galaxy apologized through a community post, and izzzyzzz apologized in private to Harley to pass along. She said all she could do is apologize and promise to do better in the future. What a load of fucking shit. Izzy, your video on Mari got over 500,000 views and was full of slander. Mari had just under 3,000 subscribers. She didn't have the platform to defend herself, and it wasn't just you going after her, it was a bunch of other people as well. She did start a new YouTube channel and tried to speak up about the situation, and when she did, her video got downvoted into oblivion by Cal's fanbase. A fanbase that Cal has partially thanks to you. If you want to apologize and move on, make a public apology. It doesn't have to be in a video, but at least a tweet, a community post, or something more than a private message to someone who isn't even Mari. Can you do that for a woman of color who you slandered in a video that got over 500,000 views? Do you even feel bad about what you did to her, like, at all? Now, before someone sends me a message on Twitter or Discord saying, Char, why did you defend Antoons? I have a question. Where the fuck did I defend Antoons? In the couple of minutes I've been talking, I didn't defend Antoons once. I already defended Mari on my platform, so my fans already know what's up. But Antoons, despite what some people think, has a different fan base than mine. And I'm in this video with Antoons in the hopes that it will help out Mari a little bit more. Did Antoons let me be in this video with him so I could make izzzyzzz look worse? Maybe. Everything I said was still true. Izzzyzzz, I don't think you're unforgivable for what you did or anything like that, but I really think you owe Mari a public apology. In fact, I really think she deserves a video apology for how much you slandered her. Anyways, Antoons, thanks for letting me be in this video with you so I could defend a woman of color. But wait, I hear you saying, didn't izzzyzzz make a Twitter post saying that she was apologizing to all parties involved? And why she took the video down? Yeah, she did make that Twitter post, but she didn't mention Mari's name once, so I don't really consider it a real apology.
The video is pretty bad. I feel that way about all my earlier drama videos. They suck, and I'm super embarrassed that I ever made drama content, to be honest. I hope it's clear that my content has shifted away from drama/commentary. I was terrible at it, and the videos were hot garbage.
Izzy doesn't want to get backlash from her core audience, as most of her videos get over 400,000 views. She would rather keep this fuck up under the rug than risk losing her precious views. But at least one thing is for certain, that even Izzy admits her drama videos are hot garbage.
Oh my, oopsie.
Good.
No, let's not. Excuse me. Did someone give you a pass to say that?
But all that fan art you gave me.
Prison mate Luke, my arch nemesis. Probably the luckiest commentator I have ever seen, getting 100,000 subscribers in 3 months. But after the drama with me, Harley, Hopeless Peaches, and Just Stop, he currently has lost over 18,000 subscribers. His latest video has more dislikes than likes. It took Luke only a year to get a video with more dislikes than likes, and it took me 5 years to do the same. And that video came out the 28th of May, 2021. The guy could have easily made a living on YouTube, but he just couldn't stop lying and slandering people. If you want more information, I have a whole playlist on him, but I'll briefly go over a few of the small things he has done. Of course, there was the things he did to Peaches, where he said she was a sewer slide baiter, constantly twisted her words with evidence that actually debunks the claims he was making, and just did everything he could to make her look like an awful liar. He went after Harley, who was only 16 at the time, which really makes him a hypocrite considering how pissed off he got at Antoons for going after a 17-year-old when he went after someone even younger. He tried to paint Harley as someone who defended Lolicon, and when Harley debunked this claim, Luke did a follow-up video on Harley, ignoring the arguments Harley made about him not defending Lolicon and just made the statement over again. Keep in mind, Luke was huge at this time and Harley only had a few thousand subscribers. And all of this happened because Luke and Harley had a disagreement over the Lexit situation. A situation that Luke did 3 videos on and Harley did 0 videos on, but apparently somehow he needed to stop Harley from putting out false information about the situation, even though he was the one doing that. And of course, he tried to paint me as a racist, which caused Kuro the artist to kick me out of his Discord and remove the videos he did with me. And no, he has not talked to me since that video of Luke's came out. Keep in mind I defended Kuro from fucking Seth the Programmer, but that's a video for another time. Luke in his video about me claimed that I was defending the Confederate flag when I never once did that. Said that whenever someone calls me racist, I say that they're being the real racist, and his evidence to support this claim doesn't support his claim. And worst of all, he said that my friend's avatar, Professor Dreadlocks, was just a black-faced version of me. Needless to say, this was pretty offensive to my friend Professor Dreadlock, but I guess he had to offend a black person to accuse me of being racist. And if anyone thinks I'm racist, well, I have a black roommate now, so if that still makes me racist, I guess being racist is not really that bad of a thing.
I have already responded to some of Luke's videos about me in the first drama video, but here we'll just cover his final hit piece on me, the best one in my opinion.
He even made a comic where he uses the I have a black friend excuse, and I think he made this because of me.
Wishful thinking, Luke. I had no idea you even existed when I made this comic during summer of 2020, and this video of yours came out in November of the same year.
You are made of stupid.
In the last video I did on him, I called him out for pinning a comment on his Pina video that said that since Antoons helped him once years ago, and he's black, that means he isn't racist.
Helped him years ago, indeed. I animated the entire music video for the band The Intergalactrics, which to this day got over 70 million views, but I never asked for a single dollar for my work, because the band helped me with audio work in my first Mr. Sneaks videos, and then later helped with sound design in my other old animations. Notice anything funny? Mr. Sneaks and a black man working together. But wait, no, I'm still racist because I made jokes about BLM.
The comment also said that since he supports the LGBT, that means that Antoons does too, when Antoons has on multiple occasions expressed his dislike for them.
But in another world where I live, people make fun of anything and anyone. Your American culture cannot dictate what other countries find acceptable. If a minority group like LGBT wants to be accepted, then they need to accept people making jokes about them. You can't fight for rights and then cry about someone having rights to make jokes about queer people. But I don't have anything against LGBT. If that's a person's choice, then I respect that. As long as you're not hurting anyone, then I have no problem with you. But don't expect me to go easy on you when it comes to comedy. I treat everyone equally. However, I do dislike Pride Month, where giant corporations pretend they care for LGBT when they actually don't. So just like the BLM grifters who pretend they care for black lives when they only care for money and power.
We actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
Am I a Marxist? I'm a lot of things. I do believe in Marxism. It's a philosophy that I learned really early on in my organizing career.
It came out in the spring of last year that Con Colors used the BLM money to buy multiple homes, including a secluded compound.
He's still talking about Puppychan and will not drop her. And it's even gotten to the point that he commissioned someone to draw a picture of him lynching her. This was posted to his server. It's him in a KKK mask hanging her old OC. It's very racist.
Ah, Luke, what a mess you have caused. So about the lynching drama, here's what actually happened. During Puppychan's 18th birthday, someone DM'd her, claiming I commissioned someone to draw Puppychan's fat cartoon dog being lynched. Of course, Puppychan wouldn't question anything and went ahead and posted about me apparently commissioning this art. Shortly after, I noticed people were spamming in my YouTube comments, accusing me of commissioning such art. I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but I did make a community post right away stating how dumb it was to accuse me when there's no receipts or evidence to prove that I would pay for such low-effort art. But to no surprise, most people were not taking me seriously and proceeded to spread the drama everywhere across social media.
Someone was in the server and got it from there, and there's even proof of the commission being yours. And he denied commissioning it, even though there's proof of him doing it.
Prisonmate Luke of course jumped on the bandwagon and made this horrid video in the process without any research, because people were believing anything about me at the time. Meanwhile, on my Discord server, nobody knew who actually made this art, or even who DM'd Puppychan. It could have been absolutely anyone, because the art was so simple and drawn on paper in black and white. But then one girl who pretended to be a boy, if you remember from the first Antoons drama video by the name of Mosquito Bee, made a tweet admitting to drawing this lynch art. So this raised the question, why would she do that? If she was a fan of Antoons, why would she put him in bad light like that? Well, at the time, she never actually admitted on my server that she was the one who made the art, despite it looking pretty similar to the fan art she did for me prior. Mosquito Bee simply made that tweet to stir up drama and get attention, while proving a point on how the mob believes anything so easily without much evidence. So people were of course attacking her and tried to get her Twitter account taken down, but there's probably a reason for why she did this. You see, Mosquito Bee actually had feelings for me at the time, and she admitted that in the DMs with me, but I always saw her as a friend, and I made sure she understood that. Now this is just my speculation, but it seems that creating such drama with lynch art and then later get attacked by the hordes of Puppychan's fans was a way to show that Mosquito Bee is capable of being edgy without fear of backlash, so to possibly get my attention in the process. However, to this day she never admitted that it was her art, and she hasn't been on my server for almost a year now, since she left 1 month after the drama. But it's almost obvious this was Mosquito Bee's art, and knowing her history, it sort of points in that direction. Oh wait, my bad. Mosquito did actually return to the server around July of 2021 for about a month, but she quickly became a nuisance in my community as she kept breaking the rules, so most people didn't want to have her around. Thus, it's no surprise she left soon after. Oh, and on a similar note, if you remember Java from the first Antoons drama video, she was banished too for spurgy behavior. Just goes to show that no fandom is perfect. There's always some bad apples in every basket. And to my surprise, of all people to call out Luke, it was Just Stop who also mentioned this exact drama in his video criticizing Luke's journalism. Talk about a black cattle calling pot black. But looking deeper into this, it makes sense on why Just Stop would attack Luke, as both are competitors in the commentary community, and so it was a duel between the two scumbags.
This video on Antoons, though, he did spread unproven information. Other than it stating Antoons was posting new comics on Facebook, something that isn't true, it's all re-uploads, still an easy mistake to make.
Luke also spread around the rumor that Antoons had commissioned someone to draw Puppychan in a very terrible circumstance.
It's very uncomfortable to talk about, and I advise by no means searching it out.
Oh please, he Here we go with just stop being a baby again. Just show the drawing, you silly weenie.
But basically, a person that likes Antoons created it, and some people spread around that he commissioned it, including Puppychan. The thing is, there wasn't any actual solid proof that he did it.
When even Just Stop's brain realizes this, you know it's bad.
Claims there's evidence to support it, but he never shows said evidence. There's evidence pointing to whom the artist might be.
Here he goes blurring out the doodle, like he blurred out Puppychan's censored period attack from my game. Definitely a weenie.
But thinking logically, why would Antoons do that to begin with? As an artist, he could draw a better version himself, and it doesn't really make sense that he'd do that in the first place after the drama had already died down. With no substantial proof, Luke was straight up spreading rumors here, and that's no good.
It's quite amazing Just Stop uttered these words. Whatever helps him to take down Luke, I guess. But in the end, Luke lost, as Just a Robot was also having a war with Luke. So there you have it. Luke was even attacked by his own kind, so after a few months he left YouTube completely. Good riddance. However, the lynching drama had an extra chapter. So as you know, during my Twitter days, I made lots of artist friends who also made provocative comics. One of them was Thought Panels. This man saw how insane the mob was getting during the whole lynching fiasco, so he decided to play as well. That's why he made a 4-panel piece depicting a fat cartoon dog getting lynched similar to the first time. Keeping in mind it's Puppychan's OC, people were seething more than ever. So this art was way more professional, unlike the first one. This was a perfect example of how fragile the modern internet users are. No context is needed anymore because outrage is rewarded. Nobody cares to look at the comic and ask, is there really a black person inside the fursuit? What if it's just an empty suit hanging under the tree? People in the furry groups immediately see the creator of the OC being hung and create outrage on the same level as if it's an actual person being lynched. So same reaction when I put Puppychan's OC in my fighting game. It's just hilarious how easily offended these people are. Thought Panels is a brave man who walked in the steps of Jesus. He lost his account for everyone's sins. Rest in peace, my friend. Following this lynching drama, I was inspired to animate a video for my 900,000 subs celebration special where Puppychan's OC is beheaded. Note in the video I made a point that art and artist are separate entities, as you can see that the creator of Puppychan herself and her dog creation are 2 characters instead of 1. You can keep your persona fantasy to yourself, but I will always see you for who you are in real life and not who you pretend to play as online.
Creepshow Fart is just about the worst commentator I have ever seen in my entire life. She looks and acts like a stereotypical SJW. Despite pretending to be nice to everybody and acting like the most politically correct figure online, LolCow, a site that's like 4chan for girls, decided to take away her anonymity, and showed a lot of the messages that she posted on their website, revealing that she said a lot of homophobic, racist, and transphobic things, and revealed that she was talking a lot of shit behind a lot of other creators' backs that she was polite to in public. Instead of admitting to this, she tried to lie, saying that it was someone pretending to be her and using her IP. A lot of people debunked this pretty fucking easily. It was also revealed that she was the one who orchestrated the entire drama between Hopeless Peaches, talking shit about her long before Luke's video about Hopeless Peaches came out, even though it was the first one on her. Now, Hopeless Peaches disagrees with me on this point, but I believe because of the drama with Hopeless Peaches, it caused some of her viewership to go down, making her advertise herself on LolCow, breaking their rules in the process. And even if that isn't true, which it very well could not be, Creepshow Art lying about it not being her, right after she was caught lying about Hopeless Peaches, and also let's not forget about the video Toby Majestic did where she exposed Creepshow Art for a lot of the misinformation she created. I think all these lies on top of lies were just too much for people, and that's really what kicked off the bandwagon with Creepshow Art. Like, if I said a whole bunch of shit on 4chan and my private messages were leaked, that would make me lose a few subscribers, but it wouldn't be career-ending. The reason why Creepshow Art's career was ended was because she just couldn't stop lying, and no one could trust her anymore. Funny thing is, all she had to do was just admit to a few of her mistakes, and she would have still had a career on YouTube. After all, the truth can set you free, but lying constantly will put you into a cage of your own making.
And another very important event to mention is that one of the victims of Creepshow Art, Emily Artful, came out with her massive expose video showing how Creepshow Art was stalking her for many years and tried to ruin her life no matter what Emily did. This was the biggest blow to Creepshow Art, which made her leave the internet for many months, and only recently she managed to come back to make a pathetic response to Emily and how she's a liar. Unfortunately for Creepshow Art, nobody was taking taking her seriously anymore, but maybe the 2 videos she did on me before might convince someone that she's a credible journalist. Let's find out.
And we are back. Let the credibility showdown commence.
I don't know how you mess up that badly. Today we are going to be talking about a man who is known for taking down and falsely copyright striking any videos that talk about what he has done.
I'm a little tired repeating myself already, so here's a ripped clip from another video.
Did he flag Just Stop's video? No. Did he flag daftpina's video? No. Did he flag any of the videos done by Creepshow Art, who's one of the least trustworthy people in the commentary community? No. But he did flag the videos of Prismate Luke and izzzyzzz. Maybe there was a reason as to why he did it.
A man who got so mad at the smallest bit of criticism that he spent weeks tweeting about it.
At least I didn't tweet about me deleting my own YouTube comments under this video, Shannon. To remind you all, that's the first thing Creepshow Art did when I called her video cringe. And yeah, that was a lie, of course. I never delete my comments.
Some way, despite all of this, has almost 1 million subscribers.
Ah yes, the jealousy factor.
A fair few different channels are being negatively affected by this guy. Spoiler alert, he has been falsely copyright striking videos that talk about his actions.
Striking videos that spread lies and misinformation. Your video falls into that category too, Shannon. But you don't see me reporting it, do you?
Falsely accused a bunch of different people of a bunch of different things.
I'm pretty sure saying you're lying about most things is a fact, and when I said the same thing about those bunch of people, I was correct too, seeing as they were busted recently just like you for lies and misinformation.
Which he has no facts or figures to go with, so it's just...
Oh, here we go again.
I'm going to leave the YouTube channels of everyone who has been affected by this person in the description down below. And if you feel inclined to, go to these channels and leave them some positivity. Tell them, hey man, good job, give them some hearts, whatever you want to do, because they honestly deserve some kindness right now.
Playing the angelic supporter of the victims, as Shannon is known for. Being a race and LGBT grifter gives you lots of points online for calling out all the injustice of the modern world. Too bad for Shannon, all of this support is fake though, as her lolcow's forum history was leaked recently. Things she says here are to get sympathy points only, so you can feel that she cares for everyone that Big Bad Antoons has hurt. It's also amazing that she didn't do a lick of research on the people she claimed were the victims of me, because as we've seen already, all of the channels that made hit pieces on me were exposed for lies and misinformation.
He's most well known for his videos like Sonic Funeral, basically center around a well-established character of some series that he does not own dying.
That I do not own. I like that you noticed that, because apparently the Among Us game in your video is owned by you and not by the company that created the game.
It's super bangs on the YouTube platform, especially because he is using other people's work to sell it.
I did not see any prices on my videos last time I checked. Where am I selling them exactly?
I mean, I shouldn't say there's nothing outwardly wrong with this, because there is an issue with Anton, who by all means is a talented artist who has an established art style who could easily make these animations himself.
I did make them mostly myself though, until recently when I hired more animators to help.
But he doesn't, because he decides to trace those characters from other properties he's using and uses other people's art in order to make money, which you know is a bad thing.
Interesting. I guess you showing footage of the supposed stolen art in this video of yours means you're also stealing their work?
That's a bad thing. You're not supposed to be doing that.
That's a bad thing to make up false claims, Shannon.
Isn't me trying to say that fan works or fan animations are bad and shouldn't be done, mind you.
But that's what you're saying here, Shannon. Calling all of my videos traced is a lie.
There are plenty of fan animators who create things entirely themselves, but simply use established characters to do so. They draw everything, they work on everything.
Yeah, I animate everything myself in my parodies most of the time. There have been 2 instances when I did hire a tracer to trace a few existing frames from the original show, and that has been known publicly as I put it in the credits of those videos. Unfortunately, it seemed you didn't have time and patience to do the research, or maybe you just didn't care to tell the truth, because jumping on the anti-Antoons bandwagon is much easier.
Any of the Starbomb music videos that are animated by various talented artists. Most of those artists are putting their own spin on established characters or a property and, you know, making parody and...
I dare you to find more than 10 traced frames in my videos. You'll have to look through hundreds of original frames to find any. Calling all of my parodies traced is simply disingenuous, because you're discrediting all the work that goes into the original frames, cleanup, layouts, music, sound design, and voice acting.
Really not taking other animators' work and saying, well, this is mine now.
Show me at least one instance where I claimed I own the works I traced. I'll wait forever, because everyone is credited at the end of my videos.
His most popular series, which again is where he just decides to kill every cartoon that has nostalgia linked to it, which is super weird, that series is almost entirely traced work, because why wouldn't it be?
In your mind, a single traced frame from a 25 set of original frames is considered almost entirely traced? By your logic, 1 is bigger than 24?
He saw an opportunity to make money by using other people's works, and he took it.
Just like you took an opportunity to use other people's game, like the Among Us, in your video to make money. It's the same principle, exactly the same.
He does it because he wants to make sure he gets the established characters to look as closely as he can to their properties.
When you make the parody, that's kind of the point.
We have a man who is super keen on tracing and making money off of other people's work, and is super proud of that fact. He's not even mad that it's being called out.
That's very true. I'm surprised you got that right at least, but I see you're pretty mad at me considering you made a 30-minute video.
Happy to let you know that the majority of the work he is praised for doing is not done by him.
I guess you reached that conclusion based on the view count? If so, then it's no-brainer. A parody with established brands will always get more views than original concepts. Look at literally any of the channels who do both original and parody. Parody ones always get more views.
Usually this would be where the video ends. Despite Anton having almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube, he is also well known on Twitter for his political cartoons.
And of course, no video on me is complete without my political comics.
This one.
So to cut her ramble short, she just repeats the same woke preaching for like 5 more minutes about how serious the comic is and how hurtful it is to everyone. Political comics bad, yada yada yada.
I never get political on this channel, and in order to make apt political commentary, it takes a lot of time, research, and care, and I can't trust myself to do that well. I really can't.
Well, you finally admit that you don't have time to research. That little thing you were supposed to do for this video on me.
What about this cartoon, where his weird penis-nosed character is trying to hit on some person, and she rejects him?
Did you just sexualize Mr. Sneaks? Why are the SJWs so horny all the time?
I don't even know what the message is supposed to be here. But
here, Shannon, this comic suits you perfectly. What does this mean?
I will tell you one thing, it's stupid.
Great elaboration and criticism, Shannon.
So thank you, Estonian 31-year-old cartoonist. This comic just solved racism.
Okay?
Should be noted that Anton has stated publicly he doesn't agree with or believe any of the things that he makes cartoons about.
I never said that I disagree with all the things that I draw. There's always some truth to every joke. But art can be also just art. If it makes you respond emotionally, then I as an artist have succeeded.
Just post these comics saying offensive things to cater to people who do think these things.
I cater to anyone who has a sense of humor, right or left.
This person simply made a comic that didn't make fun of the trans suicide rate, and their only crime was that they talked positively about being trans.
So we finally got to the Puppychan drama, and we're off to a great start.
That's it, which I guess is now something that Anton has a huge issue with, like a massive, raging issue with.
Yes, the trans stuff is such a big issue in my life. You can't even imagine.
Anton got into an online spat with this artist, who mind you is a 17-year-old. And in this argument...
Forgot, it's not just a minor, it's a neurodivergent minor. No criticism allowed.
For some reason, don't ask me why, Anton, this 31-year-old, decided it would be really cool to ask, again, this minor, this 17-year-old, about their genitals.
And you're forgetting to mention the minor publicly tweeting at me about the period. This is a favorite attack of my detractors. Rephrase anything you say to make it a problem. No wonder we have articles like math or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are racist.
Also, while this is happening, Big Man Anton was also tweeting about how he was being bullied.
Death threats, doxing, and calling my employer over a bunch of drawings is not bullying at all. Right.
In comics, celebrating trans people dying.
If a comic is a means to celebrate, by your logic, I guess...
17-year-old tweeted at him, he is now being bullied. This is an adult, by the way.
Because adults cannot be victims of harassment, no matter what the situation is. Only minors are allowed to be victims, by your logic.
Alleged game he is working on, where this minor, who he is accused of bullying him, is a boss battle, and their main attack is them shooting blood from their genitals.
Also notice how Creepshow art never shows any images of Puppychan the cartoon dog, and insists that making a fursona or your avatar is a mirror of a human self. If I identify as a taco and I see someone eating a taco, should I be offended by that? Because taco is my persona, right?
That making an image that is supposed to be a minor, that is an avatar for a minor shooting blood out of their genitals as an attack is gross.
You cannot be a cartoon dog, no matter how hard you try.
This idea to identify some drawing is insane to me, and I can't believe that most people on Twitter believe this.
He ended up apologizing to the minor afterwards.
There's so many lies in this video, I can't keep up with them. No, I never apologized for anything to anyone.
And taking down the video.
No, I never took down any videos. It's still up on my banned Twitter account.
While stating publicly that they had made amends.
I posted a drawing of Mr. Freaks and Puppychan as a statement of truth. That's it.
It was like, yeah, I may have gone too far. That's my bad. Oops.
I have gone far to Puppychan, who contacted me and asked to take down the video, and we simply talked things out privately. But she didn't want to explain anything to her followers afterwards, or even retweet the art I made. She just enjoys being a victim, and the Kiwi Farms thread proves it many times.
Privately, on his Discord, he was bragging about how they, again, the 17-year-old he sexualized, was going to be a useful tool for him to use to get to the left.
Oh, and the daftpina being a snake bit. To take the chat from a day prior and post it out of context to label me as a backstabber.
And not one person has ever talked to me like this or talked about someone they don't like this. This is gross. This is weird. This is beyond bonkers.
Seeing Shannon's double life and the things she says behind closed doors, I have nothing more to add here.
This man thinks he's a mad scientist who is going to take over the world.
This image is perfect here.
While at the same time being so sensitive that every time someone disagrees with him or tweets about how they don't like him, he has to cry about it on Twitter.
At least show the actual tweets, Shannon. You're just showing another out of context image from my website. Not to mention the videos in that post do not have anything to do with the drama you're talking about here. And maybe you'd have a better point if you hadn't been crying on Twitter about me calling your video cringe.
Falsely copyright struck any video that was made on the situation, including daftpina's.
Any video, including daftpina's? Which line number is this again?
Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a girl who failed out of community college.
Could have guessed. Why am I not surprised? You failed in college, so you took your ass to YouTube to talk shit about people and spill tea, while living a double life and stalking Emily for years.
He's behind Jeffree Star, maybe, but I don't know.
Comparing me to Jeffree Star is an actual insult. Now I'm offended.
He is a jerk. He is gross. And at this point, I don't know what else to say, what else to do.
Well, you did what you had to do. To lie, slander, and pretend you know the situations you talk about. To get those clicks while the big bad Antoons drama is hot. I love the end of the video text, Shannon. Very cute. If only you weren't a transphobe yourself, that is.
Looks like Creepshow's not giving up yet. Can she overturn the situation? Let's find out.
I have to feel bad for them because they actually have no idea how dumb everything they have done is. And that is the case for the man we are talking about today, that being Antoons.
They, them? Did you just misgender me? Shannon, I have normal pronouns. It's he, him.
As well as pretend to grift in terms of his political affiliations in order to make money.
I don't remember posting comics on Twitter made me any money. In fact, that's one of the reasons I stopped making comics, because it's hard to make profit off of them.
Oh, and how could I forget the fact that he also insists on calling every single member of the LGBTQIA+ community a predator?
Well, that escalated quickly. I thought you'd save your best lies for later, but no, we get them now.
Suffers from the fact that he really isn't smart and he isn't all that clever.
Not all of us have a galaxy brain like you, Shannon.
Even though he has literally nothing of value to do or say. He's there, trying to exist, and boy is he doing a terrible job.
Well, at least I made you dedicate a second video on me, so that's value to you, isn't it?
Say you have someone online talking about how they are vegan and all their videos are about them being vegan. All their content is surrounded about them being vegan, their tweets are constantly talking about veganism, blue. And then it comes out that the whole time they were making money profiting off the content of them being vegan, they have not been vegan at all.
Oh boy, this is one of the best parts in the video. Shannon basically told us everything about herself, considering her double life was leaked.
The entire time they have been promoting this lifestyle, they've actually been eating animal-based products and only used veganism as a way to make money and gain social status. Their audience, everyone who has supported them on their vegan journey, is going to feel completely and utterly betrayed.
I guess all of my black, trans, Hispanic, and alphabet fans following me is wrong then.
But to an audience of extremists who thinks he genuinely hates any person who isn't exactly like him.
How could I have ever betrayed them? Surely they hate me now for not being an extremist.
Anton does that.
Okay, so Shannon hurt her little brain here. So she put a wall of text because recording extra would cost effort for a busy girl like Shannon. I'm not gonna read for her, but she's basically saying I have no audience because I'm pandering and I have no support in general. Well, 300,000 new subscribers since the drama had started, but okay then.
And making comics celebrating the deaths of trans people is beyond terrible.
Suicide comics have been made since the dawn of time, but you are not forced to like them, Shannon.
The fact that he is only doing it to make money?
Okay, now you're persuading me to actually start selling my comics, as you keep showing how valuable they are. Thank you, Shannon, I really mean it here.
And doesn't actually believe in what he says, and the fact that he was willing to admit that publicly in a call he knew was being recorded by daftpina, that's bonkers.
I don't get how you and daftpina took one clip from the interview where I say I have no issues calling someone by their preferred pronouns as something that entirely makes all of my comics opposite of what I believe. I do believe that BLM and Antifa are terrorists and neo-Marxist movements that are harmful for the minorities, and I respect all minorities just as I respect any other human. That's why I make fun of them equally. Nobody is exempt from my jokes, I don't care who you are. Another screen of text. Big girl Shannon being lazy again.
So on one hand, Anton is making hateful content that attacks literally every minority available.
Oh no, why won't anyone think of minorities and comics being made on them? You're basically saying that minorities can't handle jokes, and I literally made a comic about this. Trans and generally LGBT movement has a huge list of problems currently, but the activists like you, Shannon, sugarcoat everything, ignoring the serious issues of the community. My comics bring an awareness to the trans people, so everyone can learn about the high suicide rate and work on preventing it. Believe it or not, but my comics are actually saving lives.
I don't know how you mess up that badly. Like, you can't even be transphobic correctly, dude.
Oh man, Shannon would know how to be transphobic, alright? Considering her leaked posting history.
He decided he was going to epically troll the internet on April Fool's Day by making it seem like Butch Hartman, yes, Butch Hartman is a transphobe, because that is normal and totally not defamation.
It's like everything Shannon is saying about me is actually about herself. It's like she's talking to herself, considering how much defamation she has caused with her 2 videos on me.
He made a new account and tweeted this out. OMG, it's here. Thank you, Butch Hartman.
Oh no, how dare a pastel-colored fabric be burned? How dare he? Worst crime possible.
He shows off the $200 commission he purchased from Butch the Bitch Hartman.
Did you just assume the price, Shannon? It was $250.
His original character, Mr. Freaks, holding a burning trans flag. People saw this tweet, saw what is undeniably a commission from Butch Hartman, and they freaked the heckle Stilton out. So people saw this drawing, saw this work, and immediately assumed that Butch the Bitch Hartman had taken this commission and outed himself as a transphobe.
To be honest, I don't think Butch cares about this at all, as a trans flag only means that Mr. Freaks is not satisfied with his trans reassignment surgery job. If you had done research on my comics, Shannon, you'd know that Mr. Freaks is a doctor and not a transphobe.
People were rightfully outraged.
Butch is based.
He had digitally added the trans flag to the drawing, not Butch.
I'm pretty sure Butch does not support the LGBT, and most people already know about it.
That made the multi-millionaire egomaniac look like a transphobe and further ruin his public image.
In the multi-millionaire place Butch is at now, he has nothing to lose.
So much so that he ended up trending for hours, with multiple people not realizing that Anton had edited the image. And let's be real, this kind of action does track with some of the stupid things that Butch has done and said in the past, which inevitably has sullied his name and will hurt his prospects of getting money, which, if you guys don't know, is defamation.
Oh, I'm sure everyone knows what these 2 videos you made on me are called.
Like, you slandered this man and you're happy about it?
I don't think editing a drawing is slander, Shannon, but talking about it and giving your own narrative to it can be slanderous though. Just like you're doing it now. A picture has thousands of words after all.
It would be hilarious if Butch decides to sue him.
I think it would be too, but not as hilarious as you trying to sue Emily for exposing your creepy double life as a manipulator and stalker.
Poor Anton, poor little baby. Let's pour one out for his lack of influence and stupidity, and the fact that tweets calling him out do so much better than his follow-ups.
Have you ever considered that maybe I do want the tweets calling me out to get more traffic? That's kind of a point when I make tweets. It's amazing you still fail to realize that even your video is part of a plan. It's to prove a point how insanely sensitive and easily offended you all are. Twitter is the best place to get those triggers.
I can't wait to see whatever dumb comment he's going to leave on this video, which will be his attempt at owning me, which will be just as pathetic as the last time he tried to.
That last time you cried on Twitter cause I called you cringe? Well, you're welcome. You get a full response on both of your videos now, cause I was bored.
Creep show art. Shannon, baby. Any last words?
You're an adult. You knew that wasn't okay when you said it. You cannot pretend and rewrite history to be the victim here. You can't pretend you didn't do what you did. That is garbage, and you should be ashamed of yourself for trying to lump the deliberate, considered actions you took over an extended period of time.
Actions that everyone told you not to do and say that you are not responsible. And you clearly went out of your way. You went through lengths to go to look up some of my personal private information. You wanted to hurt me. You purposely slandered me. And the only reason it didn't work is because you are too entirely stupid to do a good job at that.
Oh, by the way, isn't it weird that we've been talking about Creepshow art for so long, but nothing about her own art was ever mentioned? Well, here's our favorite art critic defending it.
She's a good artist, and sometimes she uses background footage.
She's a good artist, and
So yeah, more proof. Just Up failed his art class along with Creepshow art.
I think I have talked a lot online about taking criticism when it's handed to you and
responding to it well. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would be the biggest hypocrite in the hippo farm.
That is it. Creepshow is wiped out.
Hopeless Peaches was just another Ransona run-of-the-mill commentator. She wasn't controversial in the least bit, but thanks to a lot of bad luck, she got dunked on by the entire commentary community, getting more backlash than me and Antoons combined. The people who spearheaded the controversy with Hopeless Peaches were Creepshow Art, Prismate Luke, Kai Wise, and Omnia. Quickly, more and more people jumped on the bandwagon. These videos got tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of views. Hell, Creepshow Art's video on Hopeless Peaches is currently her 6th most popular video. On top of that, people from Hopeless Peaches' past, like Avrona and Camila Cuevas, decided to bring up old drama they had with Hopeless Peaches, so they could paint themselves in the right, even though they were pretty clearly in the wrong. I also did a video on Hopeless Peaches because she didn't help me out with Kai, but I could tell that a lot of the information about her was false, so I tried to just talk about the stuff that I thought was true. I was planning to later do a video defending Hopeless Peaches, but things didn't really go as planned, and I quickly got bashed myself. A few people started defending Hopeless Peaches, but they were mostly small channels like Skritus, SpyV, and Millie Malware. So I decided to also help out Hopeless Peaches. I did a video on Creepshow Art, Prismate Luke, Avrona, Camila Cuevas, and even Omnia. Some people, including Antoons, claim that I was defending Hopeless Peaches because I was simping for her, which is not true. I have no sexual attraction to Peaches, and I not only felt guilty for throwing her under the bus, but also because despite people taking down their videos about Peaches and saying sorry, their videos apologizing to her only got like 1/10 of the views. And the people who left up their videos and didn't say sorry got little to no backlash, and I just couldn't stand that. So, why did the drama start with Peaches in the first place? What did she get exposed for? Well, she allegedly talked shit behind Creepshow's back, but there's no proof for it. She one time tweeted, "I'm just about done, goodbye," and Prismate Luke said that Peaches was a suicide baiter because she came back to Twitter and didn't go through with acting on her game-ending thoughts. She later tweeted out that because she didn't go through with her game-ending thoughts, that now she's being called a manipulator and a liar, which Prismate Luke twisted into Peaches claiming that Luke wished death upon her, which, she never did. There were some other small things, but they all were such nothing burgers and just blown way out of proportion. But because the narrative was controlled by people like Creepshow Art, Kai Wise, Prismate Luke, they all worked together to make the situation seem much bigger than it really was.
And we are back with another round of Credibility Showdown. Our sweet Peaches has only made one video on Anton, but is it enough to break Antoons? Let's find out.
Hello everyone, this is Hopeless Peaches and welcome to the channel.
Oh, cool. Peaches has a little animated intro, at least something original in the ranks of my boring detractors.
Anton Severtnik is a 31-year-old animator on YouTube. He graduated from the University of Hertfordshire in the UK for animation, which Bravo on that, my dude.
Thanks, but I wouldn't recommend the university to any 2D animators. It was a garbage program.
Before recently, Antoons was known for a series on YouTube called Deathbed, where Anton would animate cartoons or game characters, well, on their deathbed. Pretty morbid stuff, but hey, here on YouTube, that sort of thing just kinda exists.
Okay, I'm glad you can see where I'm coming from here.
Besides a bit of tracing, I would honestly say this is pretty inoffensive from what I've seen. Other people have touched on the tracing, so I won't go into it here. I've already spoken on the topic of tracing in another video anyway.
Oh wow, are my ears failing me? Or does one of my detractors actually believe that tracing is not all bad?
Lately, Anton has found himself in some drama due to his actions on his Twitter account. Antoons started to create more political comics after becoming friendly with other political artists such as Mr. Pumpkinface and Stone Toss.
Okay, daftpina's narrative from his racist tracer video, where he claimed I was groomed.
daftpina has excellently gone into Antoons in his own channel with his interview on how Anton can change.
daftpina sure has a grip on all of these detractors we are seeing. It's amazing how much manipulation one video can cause on everyone.
But alas, despite the more sympathetic tone and alluding to Anton and his online character of Antoons having separate beliefs,
I don't know how to label my online persona, but I guess I'm just an entertainer.
It has only spiraled into a worse situation than it was before, with Anton even calling a smaller YouTuber, Izzy, a map.
Oh, we are all the way back at the beginning, when it was okay to call me a child predator for criticizing a minor, but when I call someone a map for acting and dressing like one, then it's not okay.
Map. For defending the LGBT community.
We went through this in the first drama video, so I'm not gonna bother here.
Okay, let's break this down. The main problem people have had for a while with Antoons and his comics is not necessarily where he lies on the political spectrum, to an extent. I personally believe and wish to preface this video with the fact that I believe political cartoons should be made by all sides.
I'm amazed you agree with me on that.
Less so to do with the fact that they should always or even ever will be agreed with, but more so it's a freedom of expression.
Hopeless Peaches, are you actually this radical? Yet you defend daftpina?
Looking through Anton's comics, he seems to use his platform to share more and more discriminatory beliefs such as racism, transphobia, and homophobia.
Okay, and here I thought Peaches was based for a second.
This is just being shitty. His comics very frequently go into the realm of discrimination of many groups. Homosexuals.
Hold on, you're saying you're tomboy phobic?
Jewish.
I'm half Jewish, by the way, so I get my half minority card, right?
Women, Europeans, and people of color.
My dear Peaches, Mr. Sneaks is not person of color. He's not even human.
Are all portrayed by Anton as very prejudiced ways. Again, political cartoons should be creating discussion or just poking fun at a system or political ideology.
That's literally what I was doing.
The things that people are is not politics. It's human life.
The environment shapes people, and that environment is controlled by politics. That's why you have the biggest population of trans people in California, where politics encourage people to live that lifestyle.
Instead of his comics being something to critique or express oneself,
so what if I told you that's exactly what my comics are?
He opts for encouraging harmful stereotypes, and even mocks the suicide rate of transgender people?
Raising awareness of the major problem in the trans community is called support, not harm.
Fuck?
That's a commission I made, by the way, not my own incentive, but I get your point.
He has harassed people outside of his comics as well.
I guess I can call your video on me harassment too. What is the line between criticism and harassment again?
Retaliating, Anton even questions Puppychan, a minor, on their genital.
daftpina 2.0. I had high hopes for you, Peaches.
Okay, obviously Anton is not being a map here, that is pretty apparent due to his more mocking tone, but dude, assuming someone's gender based on their artwork and
Peaches, if you skipped biology class 2, I can't help you.
Mocking the bits of a minor is weird, gross, stop!
I can't stop yawning at how much copy-paste Antoon's bad video this has become.
As far as to put Puppychan in his game where I don't even really want to say for Puppychan's sake.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt a fat cartoon dog's feelings.
You're gross, Anton.
Now imagine if Hopeless Peaches saw Fritz the Cat movie. She'd have PTSD if she hasn't already.
In daftpina's video, Daft tries to see Anton as a person who was coerced into doing more and more outrageous comics.
Edgy comics are important in the time of snowflake culture.
To appeal to the bigots and edgy children. It is a 31-year-old man. So the reasoning can only stretch so far when people are put in distress due to his actions.
When you're under stress due to my actions, you can fix the problems in two ways, you know. Either close your eyes or close the Twitter app. Simple.
You are an adult, Anton. so you need to start taking responsibility.
It feels like I'm the only adult here, Peaches. After all, I'm not making a video whining about how comics hurt feelings.
We found out his piece with Puppychan, which originally I was quite happy to hear about, was all a ruse to hide from the backlash of attacking a minor. And screenshots came out.
Yep, Peaches was controlled by daftpina all along. Considering she saw my response video on Daft, she ignores it completely.
It doesn't change the fact you're a 32-year-old who wants to attack an 18-year-old. Actually, it makes it kind of worse in the sense that you believe a fresh-faced adult is easy pickings, as if being 18 years old immediately makes them defenseless.
Of course, you would not mess with someone who lies online and then says, "Oh, I'm a minor, you can't do anything to me." And this was all a choice for me anyway. You keep triggering her for her awful actions, such as exposing hundreds of minors to porn and grooming, but I'm repeating myself again on that.
Seems to also be making a video in response to Just Stop's commentary as well by calling him a backstabber. The same kind of comment he gave to daftpina in his video, Deathbed. I would comment on that video, but it kind of just shoots itself in the foot and shows how bad Anton is more than I ever could.
Great journalism, Peaches. Why make yourself look stupid when you could just ride the anti-Antoons bandwagon and repeat the same rhetoric?
I'll just link it down in the description.
Gee, thanks.
Back to Just Stop. It appears Anton has messed up with sending Stop, another minor, pornographic content. It makes it really hard to help you combat allegations of being a map when you keep being weird with minors.
Actually, it's the other way around. I see that the minors are being weird around me.
Again, the context shows it is no way a situation where Anton was attempting to groom him, but still, you did send him not safe for work to a minor as a 31-year-old man.
I think if you want to understand what is actually happening, you would need to leave social media for a day at least.
The thing I quite find interesting about Anton, more so than the drama itself, is how people fall into this behaviour and how people can get out of it. Anton Severtnik is a human being, despite his glaring flaws and obvious arrogance. And I may be an idealist here, but I don't believe anyone is just born evil.
Not gonna lie, this sentimental part is kind of surprising for a detractor.
Anton got brought into comics on a platform that is already very radical from both the left and the right.
Funny you admit that, but somehow all of your criticism is generic left-wing rhetoric.
And through that, he seems to have become desensitized to the shit-flinging nature of Twitter.
There is some truth to that, Peaches, I'm gonna give you that. Over a long period of time spent online, I do see that I can be numb to some things, but I'm at least aware of that, so I know when it happens and what to do. That's why I encourage you to leave social media as well.
I don't believe he's a map, despite some people saying he is. Both minors involved don't agree with that statement, so I won't be spreading that.
Well, I will give credit to you for clarifying that. Still, I find it funny that people even consider the possibility that I may be a map based on a bunch of cartoons.
I do believe he's a bigot, however.
I guess my generation is forever distant from yours, because my jokes mean porn to your people, it seems. I'm glad I was raised without the internet.
Sadly, despite daftpina's being able to humanize him and make people sympathize with his radicalization,
Well, give me a break.
Anton clung onto that persona, not due to his true beliefs in these actions and words, but because of pride. Arrogant, ignorant pride, he holds on to that.
I thought you meant the LGBT thing for a second.
I'm holding quite strong words to this guy. I usually don't in these kind of videos. Anton, because I know you're probably watching this. I mean, you seem to watch a lot of videos that are made about you.
Of course, it's great publicity.
Personal message to you specifically. Anton, I don't want to believe that you are a horrible person in real life going about your everyday life. So I'm gonna go off the assumption that you're not.
You made very little research to believe otherwise. Don't act like there wasn't enough material for you to look into, especially my 2 video responses on this whole drama. You knew they existed, yet just like your friends daftpina and Just Stop, you ignored them because they would change your narrative. All of this drama made me realize one thing, that you can literally create any opinion about someone based on how many people repeat the same statements. You and all of the others have cemented an idea in the commentary community about me that was originally planted by my Twitter opponents and later made available to masses thanks to daftpina. It's the hive mind effect, where you start to believe things the more times people repeat it, regardless if it's a lie.
But online, as Antoons, you are a bad person.
You can have this impression of me, and I'm okay with that. You might be a serial killer off screen for all I know, and I would never find out what you're hiding. So I would rather be bad to you, but be honest to myself, because I'm not hiding my art expression in fear of being cancelled on social media.
You do a lot of bad things, you hurt a lot of people, and it's really upsetting to quite a lot of people.
Again, it doesn't cost anything to close your eyes and not respond to my art, but my art is too strong to ignore, I guess.
I don't want to see this. I hate the hate. Honestly, I think you do too. I think everyone does.
You probably don't understand this concept yet, but the negative response you and your SJW group have made on me is actually a positive. To me, the best art is usually provocative, and it creates endless emotional feedback from the masses. That's why I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle. He loves to trigger the fragile types, and I personally love seeing it.
So, if you want to improve, I would probably watch daftpina's video again.
Okay, I think you should end your video now. This is becoming way too dumb.
I would then go ahead and talk to somebody with different beliefs to yours.
Thanks, but I do that all the time already in my Discord server.
I'm trying to hope that you just don't understand how discriminatory and how mean you're actually being.
Everything is subjective.
Again, I don't think you're a map, but maybe stay away from talking to minors because that's not your strong suit.
I think I should be carrying a giant belt from now on, so spurgy minors won't approach me.
And I do wish you the best.
Same to you, Peaches. You're definitely the least aggressive one in the anti-Antoons bunch. You may not be the brightest, but you're one with the biggest heart for sure. And thanks to you, I see some hope for the commentary community, despite it being built on drama whores and grifters. So I'm glad not all of your community is brain dead.
And the time is up. Looks like Peaches still has some credibility left, which means she has potential. Good luck, Peaches. We all have hope for you.
I know you have been going through a lot in your beef with Creepshow Art and Prisonmate Luke, but I'm happy Just a Robot gave you a hand and it all worked out for you. Also, your anime art is pretty sweet. You're a good artist, unlike Creepshow Art. And I'd stay away from daftpina if I were you. Originally, I didn't even consider covering this small fry, despite him making videos on me as often as Prisonmate Luke would do. But I've seen people have been dunking on Harley and posting his L's for months, so I finally decided to put him in his place. So who's Harley TBS anyway? Well, it's just another commentary channel who makes videos on trendy topics with little to no effort gameplay footage in the background. So just another Leafy clone, you can say. So there's nothing special about him? Well, no, not really. Harley TBS simply became known for being trolled by John Swan during the Dream drama. That's pretty much it. He's been exposed for lying numerous times, and one of the biggest examples of that came in the form of him pretending to be groomed to get those precious victimhood points. I mean, we've seen Puppychan's success with that. And then there's this famous clip where Harley talks about Lolicon.
I think my opinion is quite important in this because I've done a lot of the research. I
don't have much to say about lolly stuff, as I think sexualizing kids, even if it's fictional, to be disgusting. And yes, I'll repeat again that fat cartoon dog shooting period blood is not sexual at all. It's gross, but not exactly sexual, as a period is biological in nature. It happens without any sex acts involved. Harley, Just Stop, and Puppychan make me fear for our future generation. Is this the absolute state of modern youth? As I wonder, where did their parents go wrong to raise them? Future Antoons here to bring you breaking news. So it turns out Harley found out that I'm making this video about him, so he tried to contact me and talk things out before the video is released. Even though it's obvious he's scared for potential backlash for lying about me, I gotta give credit to Harley for at least trying to contact me. And Harley, I know you're watching this video, but you'll have to understand I'm not removing your chapter from this long-ass drama when it's been already completed. You had plenty of time to reach out to me, especially when you were making your videos on me. But I don't mind talking to you, assuming you will still have a desire after you see the following, that is. I may disagree with you on most things, but I respect you calling out your former master daftpina, so maybe there's hope for you after all. We'll see. And while we're on the topic, we all know by now that Just a Robot is friends with both Harley and Just Stop. You know, my targets of the video. Yet he's collaborating on certain parts of this video with me. And Jar did ask me to go easy on both Harley and Just Stop, but I refused. It's as if friends can disagree on things and still be friends. Imagine this being possible in this day and age.
Harley TBS might be small and he has weaseled his way out of many situations, but maybe this time he can finally shine. Here we go.
This is a very offensive and demeaning joke. This video, we're going to be discussing Antoons. At the end of the day, he's creating a video where he theoretically wants to recreate the look of the original art as much as possible. So at the end of the day, if he wants to trace it, it's his own choice, and as long as he credits the original artists, I see no issue at all with him tracing it.
Surprisingly, this video starts with a decent point, but don't be fooled. Harley might show that he's clever and educated on tracing, but this is the only time you'll see him using his brain. Sad.
A few times where he's made comics, including jokes about Black Lives Matter. He made a video about COVID-19, and he uses his character, which is Mr. Sneaks, and he's fully black, simple sprite almost. It's been animated since 2014, and he basically uses him to represent like a black person.
See what I mean?
A lot of culturally offensive jokes, which, you know, edgy, yeah. But some of these jokes, I think, go way too far in their tone. So he made a few, to say the least a few, Black Lives Matter jokes where he would satirize Black Lives Matter, which is a bit of a yike.
Surprised how badly the BLM propaganda has damaged the young minds. Most of them do not realize this is why we now have big brain classes like critical race theory, which actually makes people more racist.
He made a few memes about virtue signaling, which is a bit of a yikes. So
Okay, Harley, no elaboration?
and it's a bit of a yikes, to say the least.
How many times do you say yikes in your video, Harley?
Yikes, heavy yikes, heavy yikes.
Is this the capacity of your criticism? Maybe I shouldn't be too harsh, as you might be one of the special people for all I know.
Like, Jesus Christ, how far can you go with your jokes? Like, god damn. But stop. Because you're just offensive and you're actually damaging a movement. I'm gonna make fun of a very important political movement about, you know, unfair racism and injustice. I'm just gonna make jokes about it.
I encourage everyone else to make jokes about a movement that pushes equity based on the color of your skin. This is actually making people's worth and value based on the race, and not on the merit of their intelligence, skill, or wisdom. BLM is a neo-Marxist movement that uses minorities as a tool to spread the ideology, which leads to communism and social degeneracy. BLM is actually harming black people, and many have already stood against it. But I don't expect a 16-year-old to understand such concepts, Harley. So you can keep living in your they-them fantasy world, pretending to be an anime character from one of your shitty games.
It went about as well as you'd expect. He asked me if I was autistic, because I gave him a few questions, and then
I should have asked if you have a father figure instead.
and proceeded to tell me Prisonmate Luke, my YouTube friend, was a slanderer.
Oh, I forgot you were friends with Prisonmate Luke. I was surprised you were two different channels.
Disgust me. You are terrible, Anton. Pro free speech as much as you want. I'm gonna be pro fuck you.
I'm guessing schools today have stopped teaching theater and literature. The concept of comedy and tragedy should be taught since the first grade. But instead, our little boy, Harley, probably has gender studies in the morning class.
Whether he claims it's a joke or not, it's not a joke. This probably hurt that person very seriously. And if it hurts a person, it's not normally a joke. Comedy is funny. This isn't funny, it's offensive and disgusting. It's traumatizing to people that have to deal with these things that you satirize and make fun of.
Traumatizing. Imagine if Harley's parents took away his Xbox. Now that would be traumatizing.
People like Leafy, they produce actual comedy with, you know, joking insults, but that's satire and humor can have jokes in it. But
Oh, and this part sounds like it has an extra chromosome. Humor can have jokes in it? See, this is why I chose to school Harley here. This kid is so delusional, he seriously picks Leafy as an example. Harley, my dear child, Leafy would annihilate your sad excuse for a channel in seconds. People like you were Leafy's starter meal when he was in his prime from 2016 till 17. This is so funny and reminds me of all the pink-haired Twitter communists sitting at Starbucks fighting for social justice. None of them would survive a day during the communist regime. Harley, please wake up. People like Leafy eat you for breakfast. If only Leafy wasn't banned. God, we need him more than ever now.
And he's a disgusting racist. It's like this lovely little video about you. Hope you loved it, mate.
On the level of cringe, I'd say it's below the communist creeper, but above Prisonmate Luke's level.
This video comes at quite a funny time because literally yesterday Antoons commented on my newest video saying, "Yikes, you're looking more like Luke."
It was funny how you put hearts on each of your comments. You must really love your brilliant takes, don't you?
Literally transphobic and racist.
Oh, I was forgetting for a second. Thanks.
This isn't some sort of internet troll or whatever. This is a very offensive and demeaning joke.
I'll have to stop now. This is just too easy. Feels like bullying a baby at this point. And I don't want YouTube to flag my video, because at this point that's what Harley and his friend Just Stop would do.
In an Antoons video addressing criticism to him spanking Braxton's naked butt. Now, but if you don't know, Braxton was 16 at the time. He's now 17. You can't draw that stuff of a kid, but save your size. Today I want to discuss Antoons drawing literal porn of me.
Forgive me, Lord. I just can't.
Literal porn of me. Straight. Pornography is defined as the depiction of erotic behavior, as in pictures or writing, intended to cause sexual excitement.
Experience sexual excitement. Okay. We've reached the climax of this video, folks. A 16-year-old teenager saw a drawing of spanking and was turned on by it.
As Antoons wants to display it, this is just the method of punishing a child, which in itself is still weird to draw of another person, especially another child, with no reason when you're a grown adult.
Harley of course believes that an anime character is himself, but even then, it's spanking for bad behavior. To Harley, this is hot shit. Now that's just sad. See, this is where the parents have failed.
Completely weird that you would draw this, especially of a child. So this account posted an original version of this sketch by Antoons, with me being the character, and this in itself was weird, but it was just an image and I was like, okay, well, it's just some random person posting something. Okay,
Harley, so wait, if one of my fans posts this spanking image, it's fine, but if I were to do it, it's not? Also, why didn't you censor the butt here, but you did in the rest of the video? You don't make any sense.
Antoons then himself posted an animated version of this where it was him spanking me.
So Antoons posting it is a cause for alarm.
So he made porn of me and posted it publicly.
This isn't funny anymore, it's just very pathetic and sad.
I very quickly responded, saying how disgusting this was, immediately calling for Twitter to take action. He reported this post, which got it to be deleted, so...
That's a lie. Looking at the banned Twitter account, the GIF is still there. It would show if it was deleted with a message, even on banned accounts. Also notice how Harley has blocked the account because of how brave he is.
The second this backlash died down, Antoons unprivatized and started responding to me again with more comments where he's like, so you'd consider this porn, huh? And then he attaches some images of these old books that had this spanking belt image.
See, I told you, this gets dumber and dumber. Harley's even censoring the children's book's depiction of a butt. Thousands of years of human evolution, and we reach a point where children's books are not safe for children, they are porn.
Those comics are in reference to teachers and parents spanking their kids, which still isn't okay and isn't accepted in most societies.
Wrong. It's acceptable in most of the world, Harley. Stop watching your shitty anime and do some research sometime.
And those images are weird and make me uncomfortable to look at, phobia, to the fact that he now draws two 16-year-olds being belted on their naked ass because they criticized him.
Because the two teenagers think they're tough shit online, but when made fun of, they pee their pants and scream harassment. I mean, I get that the lockdowns made the teenagers' life harder, but to think that they would become such wussies, wouldn't have thought they would be this pissy. Just imagine Harley turning 18 and having to go to work. How many days would he last?
Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, which takes a lot of time to craft and perfect, I would
I don't think I can seriously take this anymore. This needs a cringe compilation. Harley, your videos are exact same Prison Mate Luke type trash. Anyone can do them in minutes. They are disposable and you know that.
Today's video is a direct continuation about Antoons drawing porn of me, because his fans have started doing it.
Finally, we reach the last part of Harley's arc, where he makes your ears bleed even more. He basically cries of someone drawing Rule 34 of him and Just Stop, which Harley does not realize is legal in the UK, where he's from and where the age of consent is 16.
But before I begin, I know a good few people will probably say that if it was drawn like what Antoons drew, it's not technically porn. But I'm gonna stop you right there. This person flagged it as NSFW, there are literally images within it of me sucking dick, so there's no doubt about it being porn.
So first he defends Lolicon and then flip-flops and says he's not defending it. I don't really know what's going on in the mind of his degenerate furry anymore. I don't know much about the porn art culture, but if there's a big market for it, then I can see why so many degenerates are obsessed with it. So to conclude, Harley is just as bad as Just Stop and Prison Mate Luke. Harley thinks spanking is porn, political comedy is bad, edgy jokes bad, talks shit but cries when people clap back, nosedives into any drama he can find and screams, I'm a neurodivergent minor, don't you dare criticize me. No research whatsoever, liar, cloud chaser, and I can go on and on.
These videos really aren't easy to make.
Harley, just get off the internet. That's the best thing you can do in your life. And if you still don't think Harley TBS is a hypocritical scumbag, here's him liking a tweet where someone is offering their service to murder me. If you're gonna bitch and moan about edgy jokes, then your deal is sealed. You can't support them at the same time. At least I hope that person who wanted to murder me was only joking. I can't tell anymore who's serious or not.
Harley TBS has fallen after all. Let's hope there's a chance he can grow into a responsible adult. And with that, the credibility showdown concludes. Hope you all had a fun time. And until next time.
Oh, and yeah, I'm still open to talk things out with you, mate. Excuse me, Mr. Announcer.
Oh, what is it, Antoons?
I was wondering if you could read a script about one person.
What is this?
You see, I'm a white cis male in early 30s, so by my detractor's logic, I can't call out a certain group of people because it's considered harassment.
She so baits prompting her fans to harass the OP until they take down the posts? That gets the most votes? Sorry, Antoons, I can't help you there. Don't want to get cancelled, you know. Good luck, though.
I guess I'll need a woman for the job. An autistic woman.
So now the time has finally come to talk about her again. Puppychan, aka PupKittyFan1, aka Trey47Trey, aka Fluff Queen, aka Ego Death Prower, aka a whole slew of other names over the years, is an autistic, disabled black Twitter artist who often changes her gender and sexual identity. She's called herself a lesbian non-binary, even though that doesn't make sense. Lesbians are females who have a romantic or sexual interest in other females. Non-binary is a term that refers to people who do not identify either as male or female. Sometimes she's called herself transmasculine, even though she still switches between she and they pronouns, sometimes using both. She's even called herself a feminine trans guy. On the surface, she seems like your typical Twitter artist, someone who is drawing what she likes and posting for people to view and share. She has a mother who is a Jehovah's Witness, who sounds very strict. At one time, Puppychan mentioned that her mother threw out a Pokemon plushie because it appeared to be demonic to her. However, her mother seems to occasionally accept Puppychan, having read through a paper talking about how she does not want to become a Jehovah's Witness like her mother, and she did not get angry about it. She is certainly not strict enough if Puppychan is allowed to go online. Her father, we presume, was a Jehovah's Witness too, but he passed away some time ago, possibly even before Puppychan made her waves online. Based on the tweets we have gathered, she does love her father and wishes he was still here. One can only wonder what he would do if he saw the things she was doing online. She also has other family members, but they are not mentioned as much. One noticeable tidbit, however, is that a sister of Puppychan apparently beat her up at some point. Puppychan also has a few nieces that are also on Twitter. The one she gives the most attention towards is DJ Coolflow. We will get into her later. However, there is more to her cute, innocent demeanor than she likes to let on, and if you take the time to look into it, she's not the person she pretends to be. You see, Puppychan started off like anyone else who wanted to be creative. She would post her art on her accounts to see what sticks to give her attention. She started off at 13, maybe younger, and slowly her art seemed to improve. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it showed some semblance of talent and potential. However, it seems like the more attention she got and the more she drew, the more that talent withered away. The art she now draws is very minimal effort and often goes for brownie points and for clicks. She was apparently inspired by Destiny to Moon, who was another Twitter artist and has similarities to Puppychan. So Puppychan may have become a Coomer and started making Coomer art on the internet because of Destiny to Moon. However, some people think that that goes overboard. Some people think that the characters she created, like her trans character Tammy, are made not to really represent the transgender community, but rather to exploit a fetish that she apparently has. Puppychan, of course, does not take this well. Every once in a while, she might experiment with something new in her drawings, but the bulk of the art is the same bland and repetitive ideas and designs. Then again, it is possible that some of those designs are not even hers to begin with. There has been evidence as far back as her early days that she has actually stolen some of her works, even downright admitting to it. And maybe it wouldn't be so bad if she did it back when she was young and tried to stop, but that's not the case. If you bring up any problems with her work, even if she specifically asks for criticism, she'll take it in the worst possible way, not really listening and instead practically begging for sympathy points. She will pressure people into thinking that they're in the wrong, and even get her followers to attack others she has problems with. Sometimes she might do this without realizing she was being duped, and end up looking worse off, falling for a false accusation and having her personal army believe the same false narrative. Even putting that aside, she has a bad habit of crying for attention, self-pitying, and complaining about how she follows and retweets artists, but they don't retweet back. Never mind the fact that she already had a substantial following in 2016 and 2017, but that was not enough to ease her hunger. Speaking of her following, it has been known that she has a number of people in her audience that are minors. She has even claimed that she wanted her account to be a safe space for minors. The problem with that is that she tends to post a lot of not safe for work content, whether it be verbal or visual, while she usually tries to hide it in alternative or private accounts, like how she lied about her age to get a Ko-Fi. Others can do the same on Twitter just just to see her not safe for work art. Also, people can leak this info out in the open for any minor to see anyways. Of course, one of the most infamous tweets was where she says, "Black Lives Matter diaper fur art." It is quite a tweet that would make one die a little inside whenever it is read. She also has mentioned that she age regresses and is thinking about getting a binky, so she might legitimately be interested in diaper fur or baby fur content. She has even made a baby fur coping OC once. There was one time where Puppychan had a word censored in a tweet made on a locked account, and people were trying to figure out what the word was. The full sentence was, "Should I say fuck it and come out as a blank?" Puppychan has made a similar tweet with the quote, "Boy, it'd be a shame if someone were to leak that I'm a blank fur." Regarding the first quote, people at first thought she was saying pedophile. She later made a post where she claimed that the word was chubby fur, but then she admitted that she was not telling the whole truth. She said that the word was actually something related to age regression. She claims it was because of childhood trauma, which she has mentioned a few times now. She also claimed that the locked account is totally safe for work, even though there is certainly evidence that she is drawing porn as a minor. She even has drawn porn of her fursona when she was 17. Let's remember that she and a lot of other people had a bad reaction to her fursona squirting blood in Pill Fighter, but having that same fursona explicitly naked is totally fine. One tweet that stood out to us, however, was the one where she says, "My breasts keep lactating," and then follows it up with, "Who wants some milk?" Even though this was done on her private account, that is still a rather disgusting thing to ask. It doesn't matter what woman would say it, it would still be repulsive. And keep in mind that she said many of these things before meeting Antoons, posting the lactating tweet in May of 2020. It may certainly not be entirely her fault at first when tweets like this leak, but the fact that she keeps doing the same mistake without considering that she should maybe think twice about what she posts shows what kind of person we're dealing with. Not to mention, some of this activity seeps into her public accounts anyways, but we'll get more into that later. Puppychan has also mentioned being groomed at some point in her life, possibly even sexually assaulted in kindergarten. It would be pretty terrible if it actually happened, but there's always a chance that these could be lies, which she sometimes puts out there. Even if she was not lying in this case, she is still not doing much better due to the material being posted even on her main public channel for her followers to see. Possibly her worst offense, however, is her suicide baiting. We've already established that Puppychan is a bit of a glory hound, no pun intended, but the depths she goes for validation really accentuates how bad of an influencer she can be. She has been posting suicide bait as far back as 2016. Many people will jump in to support her, but she often does not really engage with the support or even take the advice that is being given to her. And again, if she did this in her early years but slowly stopped, that would be one thing, but her cycle almost endlessly continues and her explanations as to why she's doing it just get worse each time. She eventually had a system that seemed to work in her favor. So when it came to meeting Antoons, Puppychan was the one that initiated the conversation, even though what he was posting really had nothing to do with her. But through her interactions with Antoons, she continued to use much of the same tactics. Puppychan eventually seemed to find a way to cause trouble after she explained how a reaction she had was due to her period. And then he asked, "Weren't you born biologically male?" Antoons was just asking how she could have periods if she said she was trans, which Puppychan has confusingly said multiple times. But of course people took it in the worst way possible, asking to see her genitals, and pretty much everyone ran with that to take down Antoons. In a way, Puppychan and Antoons are complete opposites in terms of art and ideologies, so during the election year of 2020, when Biden and Trump were everywhere in the news, it's no surprise people were seeing the right and left concepts embodied in these two artists during their short confrontation on Twitter. People love to label everything, so Antoons became the typical Trump symbol of edge, tradition, and triggering of the woke, and Puppychan, the supposedly oppressed black LGBT liberal furry artist who fights for social justice, became the Biden symbol. Thus the drama quickly spiraled out of that when the two disagreed on something. She then used the same tactics she used in the past, like overreacting, howling for sympathy, sending people to harass Antoons, suicide baiting, and trying to always appear in the right. And this same Puppychan was saying that minors, 16 and 17, should not be treated like toddlers, yet she almost seems to want to be coddled like one. When she and Antoons supposedly made a truce with each other, she did not post what Antoons suggested she post, which seems to fall in line with how she deals with people in the future. When she reacted to the supposed drawing Antoons had commissioned, she did not even consider the possibility that she was given faulty information, which also seems to be a line of thinking she continues to use, not learning from any mistakes. Antoons has outlined most of this before, but it now seems like it is not because she was truly hurt, but because she had some enjoyment out of the attention she received. She will every once in a while vaguely tweet about Antoons and how he supposedly ruined her life, even though she clearly would not be much different if the two had never crossed paths. Through this interaction, she became more famous, and it's either not enough or she cannot really handle it. Ever since that interaction, not much has changed on her part. If anything, she may have slowly gotten worse. In her time as an artist, we have already outlined how she got worse. In the creative side of things, she keeps wanting to do these projects, like various webcomics, animation, games maybe, even a creepypasta once. She even somehow published a children's book on Amazon. Most of these projects never go past the first chapter, often not handling the criticism coming her way and giving up as a result. She keeps mentioning wanting to make something for Adult Swim or Netflix, but she nearly refuses to improve. Not to mention much of her impulsive conduct is displayed on Twitter, so it makes it highly unlikely that a studio would ever consider hiring her. She often sells her characters, usually to try to make a quick buck or food, and she tends to eat a lot of food, a fact that became a small meme based on her McDonald's tweet saying, "Pups gotta eat." She says she has an eating disorder in response to people criticizing or making fun of the tweet. She would also continue drawing art that is questionable, and often has excuses that she is representing people, even though some of those people she claims to represent do not like these works. She often draws with her finger on her tablet, and uses it to draw characters, even her persona, with big thighs, belly, and breasts. Sometimes these characters are drawn in positions that are clearly meant to be provocative. Speaking of which, sometimes she'll draw underage characters with thighs and curves. Examples include Chris from Deltarune, and even the characters from the preschool Nick Jr. show The Backyardigans. She'll claim she's not drawing for fetish purposes, or have any fetishes whatsoever, but some tweets like the BLM diaper one, her talk about age regressing, and one other tweet mentioning liking transbian on cisbian or endbian porn, and her instances of horny posting seem to prove otherwise. Even her excuses for why she posts these things are becoming more insane. One more egregious example is that she claims she was raped and had a miscarriage. It felt like such a lie, however, because it came out of nowhere, and the reasons she claims about why she believes she was raped and had a miscarriage don't add up right when you really analyze them. Even if the story wasn't a lie, people have stated that it still doesn't excuse some of the actions she has committed. She has had a habit of lying other times to try and divert attention, like when she suddenly claims to be beaten by her mother. This is a piece of information that she has never hinted at before. She has also made claims that her mother would not let her take her medication, yet the next tweet she says she feels better because she just took her meds. These tweets obviously conflict with one another, and there are more examples like this. She claimed that her mother wouldn't let her go to the hospital, yet she has talked about going a few times. Then she said how her mother may kick her out, yet Puppychan continues to this day to still indicate that she is living with her mother. These not only conflict, but also further indicate that Puppychan's mother may not be as strict as she claims to be. Sometimes Puppychan will retweet art that minors should not be seeing, and some of her tweets she has posted on her main minor safe space channel are about her big boobs, even using the word titties. One time saying and then deleting that piss is great, saying the word cunny without knowing what it means and how not safe for work it is. Or even one egregious tweet that she deleted about choosing between, in her own words, Quran recitation versus dick slurping Twitter space. Speaking of which, Puppychan has the tendency to delete posts all of a sudden, either to hide drama or because something like the drawing she created did not get the attention she wanted. Her fans even noticed this trend and begged her not to delete a picture when she said she might. Puppychan has also once said she hated minors too, though she claimed it was out of stress and said that minors were invading her not safe for work accounts. She has even advertised a degenerate video showing a young boy wearing a dress and cat ears, calling himself a cat boy. This further illustrates how she disregards the minors being exposed to this content, thinking it's okay because the kids are open. Getting back to the not safe for work content. It is not a good idea to produce such content if you're trying to present yourself as a safe space for minors. Even some of her supposed safe for work art gets pretty close to fetishization, often fetishizing trans and LGBT, fat people, and even cultures like Egyptians, Hispanics, and Asians, amongst other countries. One thing about her persona is that even though Puppychan is fat, she is still nowhere near as big as she portrays her dog character version of herself. So she is actually misrepresenting herself. herself, not really spreading body positivity when she is making more of her own idealized self. However, it's not just the drawings she posts. She has also actually posted herself topless, quite a few times in fact, around June of 2020. She may have been egged on by another Twitter user and ended up giving in. Puppychan has also posted about wanting to use her sink as a toilet. Now these are posted on one of her private not safe for work accounts, but these are still not something you would want to put out there if you want to avoid the possibility of one of your minor followers finding them. Not that it matters, because she has been shown to let minors watch some of her not safe for work content anyways. And like what was said before, some minors can lie about their age and will end up getting exposed to these pictures. Even still, she started promoting her not safe for work account after her 18th birthday, which somewhat inadvertently led to some minors coming on and joining the account. Puppychan did little to nothing to fix this, and even more recently tends to enjoy minors producing Coomer art, even giving tips on how to do it to a minor. Puppychan's attitude can really come off as Coomer-like, no matter how hard she tries to deny it. She currently has over 107,000 followers, yet she does not block minors from seeing her work. She has also had problems with some of the people she associates with. She has an on-again, off-again artist girlfriend who goes by many names, those being Migs, Hazel, Rat Poppy, and Rat Gendered. And we put the word girlfriend in quotes because this person is clearly a guy and doesn't even try to look like a lady. Also, Rat Gendered still lives with his/her mother. Puppychan was in a poly relationship with Rat Gendered, as well as an individual known as Raspberries. Raspberries is a biological female going with he/him pronouns. Raspberries did not do much in terms of controversy and eventually left this poly relationship, getting replaced by someone known as Sunkissed. Going back to Rat Gendered, this person has been accused of predatory behavior in the past by Swanbrosia, pressuring Swanbrosia into not safe for work roleplay in February of 2021. He's also been accused by Mocha of pressuring the person to be a part of a poly orgy in December of 2020. Another Twitter user named Tay mentioned having the same experience, and also said that there were others that were approached by Rat Gendered, mainly trans femmes. But Puppychan just ignored these claims, not even mentioning them. We may not be able to say for sure ourselves, but he does retweet not safe for work art, like the underage character My Melody with big boobs. Rat Gendered also has a private not safe for work Discord, posting not safe for work bestiality and lolicon, and Puppychan herself participated in this as well. They broke up at one point, but not over these claims, rather because Hazel cheated on her, ignoring her, and apparently kept using anti-Semitic slurs, even when Puppychan told Hazel not to do so. Another girlfriend of Puppychan's was a fat fur artist named Selma, a guy with a Sylveon avatar who has a fat fetish, so much so that he likes posting videos of his big, hairy, naked belly to show off to whoever comes across it. He also likes posts of characters being grotesquely fat. At some point, controversy involving Puppychan started up again. He actually decided to step out and claim that he was never that close with Puppychan and does not condone any of the actions she has committed. However, that ended up putting him more out in the open and made him look worse. More people saw not only the fat fetish, but also some tweets he liked involving lolicon and zoophilia. He tried to get out of a bad situation by saving face and putting Puppychan under the bus, but it only exposed more facts about Selma, which did not bode well in his favor. Not to mention it showed he blatantly lied, claiming he does not have a fat fetish or claiming that Puppychan and him were never together, but these were clearly facts. Yet another girlfriend Puppychan had before they quietly split apart is Nell, also known as, no joke, pea shitters. Nell has a habit of demanding money from people who criticize him, or say YWNBAW, which stands for You Will Never Be a Woman. Nell also has gotten his friends to attack others, similar to Puppychan's tactics. Nell supposedly has Parkinson's disease, and has made some interesting tweets regarding women and gay people. One other person Puppychan at one point associated with is a Twitter user by the name of Forlung or Hushy, a transgendered electronic music producer and diaper fur who has the tendency to age regress, just like Puppychan did. She got into a major controversy when news broke about her looking for not safe for work baby fur roleplays, and later the realization that she nearly kidnapped someone, planning to do God knows what with the child by bringing her to her home and not telling her dad. Thankfully, the child got out before this came to fruition. Forlung later tried to save face, but pretty much admitted to enjoying pedophilia, amongst other things, through a manifesto she created. Yet despite all this controversy, Puppychan still followed her for a time, and only made a vague comment about her in a twit longer sometime later, as well as explaining other issues. Many people did not buy this explanation, however. She later made another apology, this time mentioning Forlung by name. This seems to go down better for most people, but then others pointed out that Puppychan had known about Forlung's actions, but did nothing until more people pressured her. When someone directly asked if she had a rebuttal, Puppychan just ignored the question. There was also the factor that Puppychan was still following some of Forlung's friends, as well as people who draw or are fans of Lolicon. An example is someone who goes by the name of Cumwife. One other notable Twitter user is Deceased Bunny, who has a keen interest in necrophilia. After some insisting, Puppychan did stop following some of these people, but she still followed some of them on alternate accounts. Puppychan is claimed to be against pedophilia, yet she still decides it's okay to interact with some of these people. Going back to Forlung, Puppychan has been apparently following Forlung since she was 16, so Forlung may have been another inspiration for Puppychan to make and continue making Kumar art. Puppychan is possibly mentally ill, as she has mentioned in the past. She has also mentioned suffering from memory loss, which is no surprise considering how she changes stories with some things, even changing what height she is. Puppychan has also started to take medication and also go to therapy. However, she later said that she had been dropped by 5 therapists and even was assaulted at a psych ward, which some people found suspicious because they doubt she went through different therapists like that so fast. There are also some issues with how she attacks people, usually managing to get her fans to do most of the dirty work. They end up acting like a cult, always cheering Puppychan on and thinking she can do no wrong. It seems that her constant suicide baiting paid off in some respects, though some people are able to see through her tactics. She'll try to deny that she suicide baited, but it's true. She has gotten her fans to attack others for rather pointless reasons. Someone by the name of Eugene Kainchen once said he found her annoying, then got dogpiled on 3 months later, even when he was trying to raise money to help his injured dog. Another time her fans attacked someone who had had a slight criticism of her art, even though that same person still liked her art overall. She also replied to an artist named Pipka, who was venting about wanting to get more than 1,000 likes without drawing suggestive women. Puppychan said how art is not a competition and that Pipka's complaint sounded petty. Pipka replied that she was just frustrated and felt now she can't complain without getting called weird. Puppychan tried to apologize, but Pipka said the damage was done and that Puppychan's presence caused a hate horde to reply to the tweets. Pipka somehow still remained on good terms with Puppychan, at least until the Forlung controversy. Probably one of the biggest instances outside of Antoons came with Cannabis Junkie, when someone apparently screen captured her tweets claiming that she used the dreaded N-word. Puppychan took the bait and drummed up support to harass Cannabis. However, Cannabis fought back and said that the tweets were actually faked. Puppychan at first intentionally ignored it, saying so in fact. But then Cannabis later made a video about the experience, even mentioning getting doxxed.
Anyway, because I don't think this situation is getting any better, because currently she has ignored my quote retweet on one of her posts, so I have no choice but to make a video.
This caused Puppychan to respond and claim to have never wanted Cannabis to get doxxed. The backlash that spiraled from this led to Puppychan considering killing her family. Through all her tweets discussing this issue, Puppychan has never really apologized for her actions. However, to be fair, Cannabis does show signs of being obsessive of Puppychan, and some indications seem to point to Cannabis having multiple accounts to screw with Puppychan. This includes that account that posted the N-word tweet picture that started the drama in the first place. Said account did suspiciously get deleted shortly after the drama began. Cannabis did try to explain that she was not using sock accounts, however. Unfortunately, she still goes on about Puppychan in her tweets, becoming so focused on tearing her down that she ends up looking just as bad as Puppychan. Cannabis even did her own suicide baiting. It is like she has nothing else going on fulfilling in her life. Still, the ordeal did further illustrate some of Puppychan's faults, like the overreactions, using fans to harass, and failing to properly apologize. Puppychan clearly has a thing for attention, sometimes retweeting her own work to see if it can get more reactions. Puppychan has also made tweets talking about the people who have followed and or retweeted her. This includes daftpina and Izzy, although Izzy seems to have stopped following her at some point. Maybe it's because she knew it could lead to controversy for her. Just Stop also follows Puppychan to this day with his mentor daftpina. daftpina. We all wonder how Daft feels about her now, because she has had a huge tendency to steal other people's work when making her own creations. There was even a period of time when she actually traced over scenes, and when she got called out and apologized for it, she still continued to do it. Of course, Daft tends to ignore this if he likes the person, so it's not like he'll ever highlight this behavior. Puppychan did gain attention for a short amount of time for her goth field pictures, supposedly starting a meme, even getting an interview as a result, but the attention did not seem to quench her thirst. She used to make art in a rapid manner, often poorly conceived, fat, and LGBT pandering. However, now she barely posts new art, instead opting to repost her own art, even becoming lazier, trying to get quick attention rather than work for it. And she is still getting worse with the new art she creates. She even redrew some of the art that was already not good and proved it got even worse. There has been an indication that Puppychan tried to get attention in other ways. There was one other instance in the past where this out-of-nowhere Twitter account named Big Booty Whore came just to antagonize Puppychan. Some people took notice, however, that the account typed in a very similar manner to how Puppychan typed, and seemed to just post uninitiated tweets trying to prove that they're someone else. This small incident happened before the drama with Antoons. It's never been truly confirmed, but it does not seem out of the realm of possibility for her to try, given all the other things she has been confirmed to do. In fact, Puppychan made an alternate account named Pineapple Snapple with art that was clearly hers, and she tried using her normal accounts to pass it off as someone else. People did not buy it, and eventually Puppychan revealed the truth, claiming it was a social experiment to test the algorithm. And speaking of confirming things, there has been a particular instance where Puppychan began talking about her own niece. Puppychan has mentioned her a few times before, including finding her YouTube channel. DJ Coolflow did start some animation of Puppychan's characters, which seemed to fit in with the Coomer ideals Puppychan has. However, when Puppychan and DJ Coolflow started a collab account called Hearts for Parts, this raised concerns. Because of the more disturbing pictures Puppychan has put out there, people started to wonder if she was grooming her own niece. After some evidence about her niece was found, however, it turned out that both Puppychan and her niece were the exact same age, which was a big sigh of relief for most people. Still, considering what we've covered about Puppychan already, is it any wonder people considered this a possibility? And of course, we cannot forget that she still constantly continues suicide baiting, using tactics like, as recently as November 2021, starting a series of tweets to rage about the criticism she had received over time, and then list the ways she planned to off herself. They range from boiling water, to knives, to pushing herself down the stairs, to laundry detergent, to overdosing, and even saying she would start off by consuming blueberries. She claimed it would test her endurance because she is allergic, but people just found that particular tactic funny, even making memes about it. She even at some point set up dates where she was planning to off herself, even on November 22nd, which is her deceased father's birthday. She never follows through, however, and we should make it absolutely 100% clear that we don't want her to actually follow through with killing herself, but she never stops with the suicide baiting, and it often diminishes the seriousness of the situation the more times that she brings it up. We wish we could say she should seek help, but considering the talk about therapists dropping her, whether that is true or not, it looks like she won't be getting it anytime soon. There is so much to discuss, but there is only so much time to do it. We strongly suggest you look up the Kiwi Farms thread about Puppychan. There is a lot more detail and even a few other parts we might not be able to accurately cover. Truthfully, there could have been some sympathy for her as an artist trying to break new ground, but her constant ways of attention seeking, posting art she should really not be posting for her audience, associating with people who are certainly not good people and often lean towards pedophilic, not listening to and rather complaining about criticism, and the over-excessive suicide baiting has really proven that Puppychan is not a good individual and refuses to truly improve. The more we learn, the more we realize what a sad person she truly is. And one more thing to mention, when Chris-chan was free, he actually followed Puppychan for a time. While this may not seem like that big of a deal for some, it's a rather poignant connection. Because considering all of the things we have talked about that she has done, Puppychan seems to have possibly become the closest thing to the new Chris-chan.
Congratulations, you made it this far in the video. There's something wrong with you. So who's this narrator girl I keep dragging here? Well, you see, she's that special someone. An autistic fan who has her own weird channel, so you can go watch it or whatever. So what have we learned from all of this? Well, one thing is that Twitter should be prohibited for anyone below the age 21. Despite many people still calling me the Hitler of art and animation, at least now you know the truth and what my opponents spread about me. You can keep calling me racist or transphobe, it's fine, I got used to it. Since these 2 drama response videos are counter to all of those claims, that's good enough for me. The problem is whether or not people have time to sit through these movie-length videos, because everyone today wants to get their news in 2 sentences. But like in the last video, I wanted to go into deeper details to show you all how each of my major detractors represented me and how social media can be extremely misused. That leads to literal online wars. When a content creator has a personal army of followers, they can freely create any scenario they want and few people will question it. As I mentioned before, I'm so glad I wasn't born in the social media age, and I feel bad for all the young people who grew up with it and think that it's norm. So for anyone who is stuck in the digital hell, all I can suggest is to log off if you want to save your sanity, or at least observe from the side without participating. During my online adventures, I had the full experience of getting random strangers finding where I live, someone from the online world contacting the police in my area to say that I'm a threat, and sending my employer emails that I'm an alt-right neo-Nazi is insane. I'd be probably dead by now if I lived in the US. But what I hate the most is that these cowards are trying to contact my friends and spread lies about me. This is where I draw the line. And even if Puppychan seems to be the grossest person out of everyone in the spectacle, the biggest slime balls are the people who defend it and keep defending her horrid actions. People like Just Stop, daftpina, izzzyzzz, and many others. The Coomer bodies daftpina and Just Stop apparently couldn't get enough of Puppychan's services in whatever form that is, so they riled up the entire art community to support Puppychan from the big bad Antoons, who dared to depict her fat OC in an embarrassing light. I have a strong feeling that these people all knew Puppychan for a long time, considering they didn't think about calling her out even once, while she was known to be a degenerate for years, even before I met her. While I don't think highly of Puppychan and hope that she can delete Twitter one day and get serious mental help, I blame the commentary community for coddling her and giving what she wants, because after all she has the full Exodia set of victimhood cards. This prevents all of these journalists from calling her out, because that's considered racist, so Puppychan will just keep getting away with all the things she has done. Puppychan, I know you're watching. I just want to say that I don't know if you contacted me through DMs back then to apologize was a genuine act of being sorry for your fans harassing me, or if you wanted to befriend me so I wouldn't mess with your reputation no more. Seeing as how you didn't want to make that apology in public in front of your giant audience in fear of looking guilty, I'm inclined to believe it was the latter reason. But either way, you need to seek serious help as soon as possible. You're not only hurting yourself with the way you behave online, you're also causing harm to thousands of impressionable minors who follow you. After you've manipulated them with constant suicide baiting, they can only repeat what you taught them, seeing as how much support you receive with each of your suicide baits. But most of those minors who follow you do not have such a massive support that they can rely on in case some of those minors reach a point with an actual suicide attempt. Have you ever wondered about that? My sister suicide baited as well, so I know what it feels like from an early age. But if over 500 pages of Kiwi Farm's thread on you doesn't give a clue on what's wrong, then may God help you. Anyway, I'm tired, so I just want to end this video by thanking all of my black, yellow and white friends, my fans, and especially detractors for making this huge video possible. Oh, and if you want to buy one of those Antoons onesies, then they're coming to my online store soon, so stay tuned. Anyway, bye for now.